Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for a match of the URC, a top of the table clash. It is Stormers versus Glasgow Warriors. This game should be a very entertaining one and a bit of a rarity as both of these sides coming into the contest are coming off a loss. Now, for top of the table sides, that does not happen very often whatsoever. The table, the way that it sits currently, Glasgow have got that 4-point lead, but a lot of sides right behind them trying to catch up those last couple yards. And to be fair, Glasgow, they've got a pretty tough finish to this competition as a whole. There are a couple other sides that fall into that same category, Ulster being one of them to keep an eye out for. But for now, the Stormers are in second. There is time, and this is pretty much it to try and really push towards that number one spot, potentially have that home final in Cape Town for the competition. But looking through at the starting lineups for these two sides, we're about 15 minutes away from the kickoff. It is currently 11:30 p.m. in New Zealand, but I am very excited for this head-to-head. Looking through, Inthisoko Machuno in the front row alongside Andre Hugo-Fenta and also Nelling Faucher will be slotting in as the number 3, Ardre Smith alongside Ruben van Heeren in the locking duo with Paul de Villiers, Ben Jason Dixon and Evan Ruis slotting in as the number 8. Now, Ruis has been on quite a try-scoring tear. I'm not sure how many games it is in a row at the moment for that man, but it's been an absolute ton of them. Scored last week in the game in the losing effort up against Connacht, but he will certainly want another one in this game here as well. Kobus Reinach as the 9 with Sasha Feinberg and Gumei Zulu slotting in at 10. Lilion Zas out on the left wing. Daniel Duplessis and Ruan Nel, the captain, as the number 13. Similani out on the right, and Damien Valimza, he is back at 15. Now, this has been a little bit of an interesting patch for the Stormers in terms of where to play Valimza. We've been seeing him out on the right wing. Now, back in his, I would call it his preferred position in that fullback role. For this game, looking through at the Glasgow Warriors starting lineup, it is Patrick Schickerling alongside Gregor Hiddleston and Xander Fagerson as the 3, Ryan Burke and Alex Samuel in the locking duo with Ewan Foree, Angus Brazier and Jack Dempsey slotting in at number 8. So a few changes compared to what we did see last week for the Glasgow Warriors. They still have a couple players missing in that forward department. And also in this number 9 jersey, it is Afsha this time. No George Horn for this stage of the URC, but he will be partnering with Adam Hastings to the change from Lancaster that we did see last week. Ollie Smith out on the left wing. Sione Tuipulotu made his way off the bench last week up against the Lions, but he is instead starting alongside Hugh Jones, Scottish international teammate. Kyle Steyn out on the right wing, and Kyle Rowe at number 15. So those are the starting lineups for these two sides, ladies and gentlemen. Just quickly looking through at what they did last week. As you can see there, the Connacht side, they were able to pull off a massive victory over the Stormers. That was a game that they were considered as one of the biggest underdogs of the whole round. They came out firing. They went into Cape Town with a clear and, I guess, conclusive plan, and that was to beat the side right near the top of the bunch. They needed those points, and they've well and truly secured them. But this is now the opportunity for the Stormers to against the Glasgow Warriors side that lost by 42 points. Now, that is not something we're used to saying. Definitely not for the side with such an impressive points differential right at the top of the bunch this game. And also the URC. It's very unpredictable, and that is what makes it so great. So, that being said, we will look through at the chat. Leka Hamish says, Yanko there, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Let's go Glasgow, says Hayno. We have got, after seeing how the Warriors played last week, I'm a bit more positive today. If the Lions can get the job done that well at Ellis Park, surely the Stormers can as well, says Yanko. Yeah, it's the redemption week for these two sides, because if the Stormers win this with a bonus point, they can theoretically be sitting top of the table at the end of this round. Now, there is also Leinster. They are up against Benetton for this round. And there's also, of course, the Glasgow Warriors. Any sort of bonus points might secure them that number 1 spot heading forward, but some pretty tough games for these two sides. Just looking through, these are the next 2 matches, ladies and gentlemen. For Ulster, or for the Stormers, sorry, they have got 2 weeks, and then they will be playing Ulster as well as Cardiff away from home. Those are not easy games, but it's definitely a must-win for the Stormers side. One of those 2 anyway, if they do want a top 4 finish. For Glasgow, they have got Cardiff at home, so that is a big bonus, as they have got a very impressive home record this year, and then away from home up against Ulster. I mentioned Ulster earlier on. They've got one of the hardest draws. You know, you look at who they're playing just in their last few weeks. They have to play up against the 2 sides inside of the top 3. And they've also got Munster this weekend that has taken place in around 5 hours or so, and a very much experimental lineup put out there from Ulster, as they also have the Challenge Cup to look forward to next week. So it's going to be very interesting to see where they finish. Currently sitting in 6th with the potential of going right down, maybe even outside of that top 8 by the end of that stage. How solid is Stormers to win here, H, given its opposition? I would say Glasgow played one of their worst games of the URC I've seen them play in a long time last week. But the Stormers were one of the biggest favourites last week and lost. So I think it's going to be the case of who bounces back better. The Stormers should be able to come out absolutely firing here because, that would be at least, the motivation to try and get towards that number 1. And sometimes when you play a slightly lower ranked side, nothing against the way that Connacht played in that game, but it seemed like the Stormers, their head wasn't completely in it. Of course, they had the tragic news earlier on, so I feel like the players were maybe a little bit emotional heading into that game. Maybe the full focus wasn't on it, but this game they have to be fully focused because they've got the champs up against them here. The Glasgow Warriors, they won it a couple years ago. They are very dangerous. They're a great side, but the Stormers, they have got a stacked lineup, which just means it's gonna be a good game. I don't think I've stopped smiling since the start of this live stream, and I don't think I'll stop smiling, till the end of this match. 13 plus for the Stormers is the AI underdog pick. Glasgow tough 5 weeks for the Champions Cup, says Haino there. And also we got their Glasgow by 6, says Jason. And nice to see you again, Hamish. Hello from Kazakhstan. And go the Stormers, says Jonathan. And yeah, it is great to have you all here this early. We're about 8 minutes away from the kickoff of this contest. Be sure to get those score predictions in if you haven't already. Some handy players off of the bench for both of these sides, including a youngster making a big step up here into the URC. It is Marcus Muller. Now, some people may not even know who that man is, but that's exciting because he is a try-scoring machine. He's going to be making his way off the bench, I would think, with about 15, 20 minutes to go to really show what he can do. It's the tricky part to know who he's actually going to make his way onto the field for. Let us know the head-to-head, please, Hamish. Says Haino, I don't know the head-to-head for these two sides. I assume that the Glasgow Warriors have won quite a few times. In fact, I think the URC website would have that. We have got I just saw the Reds and the Blues actually did end in a draw after the 80. They did, but then they went to Golden Point, and that was when we saw the Blues get themselves the win. Marcus' debut is going to be Leka. Can't wait to see it. Says Yanko there. And also we have got their big riggers in the books. Says the AI underdog pick. And there too. So I am doing currently a little bit of research, and it says the last meetings, Glasgow were able to beat the Stormers last year, 36-18. Time before that, Glasgow won. 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 So, Glasgow normally win up against the Stormers, but they have only played the Stormers once in South Africa since 2022. So that kind of doesn't give us a fair indication, I would say. And Waz and the Blues get the dub. How good? Says the Stranger. I'm glad the Waz got it done. It seemed like at times the Dolphins were going to maybe sneak past them. Music to my ears. Says Haino there. But, we've seen it many times before. We saw, look at the Super Rugby side of things. Brumbies, their game up against the Hurricanes. They come in looking at clean sweep New Zealand sides, and just doesn't work out that way. The unpredictability of this competition, similar to Super Rugby, you just never know who's going to get the job done. And I do think it's probably a decent chance that the Stormers bounce back here, as little as some people for other South African sides want to see it. You have got there, hello there, Hamish. Both teams need this win to maintain their chances of playing home in the playoffs. I think it's going to be a close affair, says Anthony. I hope it is anyway. The performance last week from Glasgow, losing by 42 up against the Lions, was just unheard of for this Glasgow Warriors side. Their points differential is still strong. We have got their 40 points to the Black Ferns, 5 to Australia. Told them this as well. That cake tin is packed nice. Says the AI underdog pick. So yeah, that one's going about the way that it was supposed to. I actually realised with the fact that it was starting at 10, it was going to overlap with this game a little bit as well. We have got any chance of Haino popping on to sing a song for Anzac Day. He is going to be covering the Lions versus Connacht match around the corner. Can I pretend you are paying for my DSTV because I'm such a great contributor to the Kiwi Lads? I think you said you bought DSTV though, didn't you? So you just want to role play that I'm the one who got it for you? Like it's like Oprah in terms of that show. Now you get DSTV. Oh, okay, the coverage is about to start up. We'll go like this. We'll go like that. And hopefully it's going to be all running smoothly. Looks like it's a bit overcast, almost foggy, looking up high. Well, that's called cloud. at Cape Town Stadium. A little bit of the cheerleaders. They've got a lot of them, to be fair. They've blown the budget on the cheerleaders. They've got some brilliant players in the Stormers side too. And Blackfern's playing well. Any thoughts? Yeah, playing very well. Expected to win that game by a big margin and doing just that. Australia, they got an early try in that game to their credit, but that was about it, unfortunately. But first half of this game is about to get underway. 5 minutes away from the start of the Stormers versus Glasgow Warriors match. The top of the table clash, 1 versus 2. Hello there, mate. Hope you're well, says Sebastian. Hope you are doing well too, Seb. Got plenty more coming up. 40-5, not much. Of a solid on both sides of the ball. Says the AI underdog pick there. See, that's a pretty brutal scoreline, isn't it? And to be fair, it's one of those scorelines that the underdog... It would be nice to see Australia doing better, but I think their best players are tied up with the sevens at the moment. But then at the same time, there just seems to be quite a big gap between what is happening for the union side of things for the Australians and what is happening for their sevens. Like their ladies in the sevens are top near the final, or at least in the final each and every week. And union, they just haven't quite stepped up to that next level as of yet. It looks like a decent crowd in Cape Town, been raining heavily this past week in Cape Town, my family told me. Thoughts on Marcus? I am excited to see that man in action. And like I mentioned, not many people outside of South Africa and a few of the rugby faithfuls will know who that man is. But that's exciting because he comes into this game with, in some regards, not a lot of expectation for some overseas viewers, which is good. But as soon as they see him playing, they're going to know that that man is a future star. And I think give him, I don't want to jinx him. I was about to say give him within 5 years, but it's always risky putting that kind of pressure on a youngster because then injuries can happen, everything along those lines. But I do think he is definitely one for the future. And hopefully he does well off the bench in the game today. We have got there the AB7s. They've been inconsistent, unlike the Black Fern, says Anthony. Yeah, they've been up and down all over the place, haven't they? Although I do feel bad for the All Black Sevens because every time they get a good player, the Super Rugby team just take them. You know, Caleb Tangitau, gone. Leroy Carter, gone. Fehi Finiananofo, gone. Like, they just all get sniped by the other New Zealand Super Rugby teams and just end up getting them and sticking them in their squad. Cody Vike, gone. Anyone who scores tries, they chuck him out, and then the All Blacks have to find a new guy to be able to go in there. They are just showing the starting lineup for this Glasgow Warriors side as well as the Stormers. We see Damien Willemse back in that number 15 jersey. I like this change. I feel like it's a smart one. Watercalant is still one of those guys who either has a 2 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. And lately, you know, those 2 out of 10s haven't quite been doing it for the Stormers side. What did you think of Damien Willemse on 14? He did all right, but he wasn't getting the ball enough. He's one of those players that if you get the ball in his hands, he makes an impact. He can change a game. But when he's waiting out on the wing for a ball that just never quite gets there, that's when the problems start. Him and Sasha are a dangerous duo when they're working in unison. Whereas when you stick him out on the wing, you don't get to see that as often. So I like the change of him back to 15. He can play 14 if they really need him to in the future. But for now, I think this is the best choice. Waz better win this year. There's no other way to slice it because there was the All Blacks level. Says our underdog pick. And also we're going to come to the Stormers. Says Youngko there. Now just showing that dangerous duo, the Springbok connection. Sasha Feinberg Zulu in the number 10 jersey and Kobus Reinach playing as the number 9. Captain Ruan now at 13, ready to step up for his team. Try and have a real impact throughout this game. But the impact will be felt in that loose forward trio. Ben Jason Dixon, Paul de Villiers and Evan Russ. That is a very handy trio going up against Ewan Fourie, Angus Fraser and Jack Dempsey. In this matchup, how many subscribers would 2 Cents currently have? About 103,000, somewhere around there I think he is on the last time I saw it. And that is, of course, forever changing. He might be higher than that now from when I last saw it. But yeah, over that 100k mark, he managed to hit it. Oh, pun intended. Didn't mean to do it, but wait, so that's pun unintended. Not intended. That's what we were after. They are just showing the lineup for the Stormers. I think the whole coverage has actually frozen. Oh, no, it's back now. Both sides making their way out onto the field. Glasgow Warriors wearing that light blue, which makes me interested to know what colour the Stormers are wearing. Normally they try not to colour code it too much. The sides are similar. Stormers might be in an away strip or an alternative strip for this game. Let's hope there's not many cards in this game. has to give one team an unfair advantage, says Anthony. Yeah, hopefully both of these sides decide to tackle low and tackle hard and not take someone's head off. Afternoon, mate, says Pleasure. Welcome in. You are doing extremely well. That ball is going to go. Well, the thing is, I was going to say that ball's going to go left to right, but I'm not actually sure who's kicking off yet. Are you going to be filming the game? No. It is illegal to show any match footage or audio, so we are going to be doing the play-by-play commentary all throughout this one, but it is available on URC TV, DSTV, and also a few other options around the world. There's one of the children making his way out onto the field. He's got a boot, unfortunately, in the moon boot, that is, broken foot kind of country. It is the kids' round of the URC, I should mention. Ruan now. You excited for this game, I would think. Fun fact, Damien Vlimza has 6 more caps than Marcus's age. That doesn't surprise me one bit. Like this Marcus Miller fella, who has been doing very well in his younger years, like he's a try-scoring machine. I just hope that this game, you know, it's up against one of what should be one of the stronger defences in the URC. Like, we'd have to take that game last week up against the Lions almost out of the equation for Glasgow heading into this match, and they will want to forget it very quickly. I can tell you that right now. A few changes in their lineup, much more set back line. You just feel like, you know, if he is as strong as he looks in the younger years and the other competitions, he should still be able to get through that defence. I see right on time with DSTV streaming this time, Amish. CS Call Ranch. I think that's because I'm through URC TV rather than Sky Sport. Normally there's less of a delay on URC TV, but it is going to be kicked off from left to right. Sasha Feinberg and Ngume Zulu about to get us underway. Ready to go. Top of the table clash. And it's kicked off by Sasha. That one's gone to the top of Cape Town Stadium with that kick-off, and it's knocked on from Damien Vlimza right off the get-go. Wasn't able to take it cleanly. Yes, timing is on point, perfectly synced with my URC TV as well. Says Yanko, moving away to the left-hand side here. Hugh Jones goes to Dempsey. It's close to this near touchline. Big strong tackle made by the Stormers. It's going to be interesting to see how often they get into those breakdowns looking for the steals. The likes of Ruiz, also Paul de Villiers. Now, rolling this one back. And it's going to be the early penalty. We have got there a monetary value. How much money would everything you have to do your streaming actually cost? I haven't done the actual like adding up of it, but all I'll say is the streaming software I use costs me close to $1,000 a year. So, you know, anytime people think I'm joking about how like the money that the channel makes goes straight into the channel, that's where most of it has to go, straight into the streaming software so that it can run smoothly for these live streams. G'day, Hamish and everyone. See Studs Race. Welcome in. Hope you are doing well. And hey, Hamish, not tuned into a live since Six Nations. But though I'd come and support, or thought I'd come and support Glasgow with the current state Edinburgh are in right now. At least they managed to get a win against the Sharks. Yeah, that pretty much stopped the Sharks from any chance of making it into the playoffs. Although, to be fair, Edinburgh's chances have sadly gone slim too. But yeah, it is great to have you back. Six Nations, I can't believe how long ago that was at this stage. Like, the year is absolutely flying by, but Glasgow have got themselves the position at the moment. Afshar going away to the left-hand side. Good rush defence from Untatuko Machunu. Now looking off to the right, Afshar goes to Xander Fagersons. There are international level players across both of these sides, thick and fast. Afshar short side, Schickling. There's an injury here for one of the players. It looked like Similani down. Is Muller going to get called on already? Ball is still on the side. Oh no, it's Untatuko Machunu, who is down and back play by the looks of it. Means that they may have to make a change in that front row. Afshar, about 45 metres out. Tui Pelotu goes across to Hastings, skip pass out to Kyle Stein. Tries to grab it. Looks like he's almost been slide tackled in back play. Similani with the ball in hand. Tackled inside of his 22. Glasgow looking for the steal in the breakdown. They've given away the penalty. Which teams do you have, or do you think could reach the URC based on current form? I think that the Bulls are looking pretty handy, and they have got a pretty decent draw to be able to get there. I think that Leinster are probably peaking at the right time, although they will be in that scenario how they have to decide what they want to focus on with Champions Cup in there as well. But this doesn't look good for Untatuko Machunu. Looks like maybe some sort of rib injury here that's keeping the big loose head prop down. There was a big driving tackle from him just before, but he doesn't look in a good way currently. He rushed up, made the tackle there. Doesn't look like anyone landed on him. I think it's just the connection in terms of the tackle. Yeah, I'm not sure what's actually hurt Untatuko Machunu there. but he looks in a bad way. It might actually be as high as shoulder here. Looks like there is an ice pack on that shoulder. Ollie Kebble, not far from perhaps even making his way off of the bench. We have there. That's pretty good considering what some spend on gaming setups just to play a game. Says Jason, I guess so. There's probably a lot of cheaper alternatives, but yeah, it's definitely one of the more pricey softwares out there. I think a lot of people use OBS, which is free, but I find this easier because I don't really know how to YouTube, which sounds bad to say because we've been doing this for like 5.5 years, but I don't know how anything works. The movie E.T., Mirachi only had a $7,000 budget and $6,200 was spent on sound processing equipment and it grossed millions. Says Big Rick. And did Machuna get his head on the wrong side? Maybe a little bit. I think it was just shoulder connected with the hard part of Alex Samuel in that tackle. But it looks like he's going to be all right. Already the first stoppage of this game. Relatively long one, but it is going to be the line out now for the Stormers after they initially managed to get themselves the penalty. The Ospreys cheated last week. So yeah, it's cross-boarding. Although, to be fair, as soon as you get to like next season, people aren't going to remember what happened in those games. So it's one of those ones. They got the points. I think the Sharks would have had other parts of their game that they would have liked to have much better in that away contest. And then to lose to Edinburgh as well just goes from bad to worse for that Sharks team. Now chipping behind, Kibis Reinach, taking that one nicely. Let's go Cape Town, says Ghetto Gang. Now going away to the left-hand side. Big run from Ruben van Heeren. Kibis Reinach again thought about going in there. Looks like a bit of a counteract. No, never mind. Penalty awarded against the Glasgow Warriors. Hi, Amish Long Day. What's your prediction for this game, says Joe Man? I think the Stormers should take it. Just because of both of these sides had losses last week, but the Stormers didn't lose as badly as Glasgow did. So Glasgow will have to do a massive turnaround to go from losing by 40 to them winning up against the Stormers side. Although Stormers going a little bit safer than we saw perhaps in that last week game up against Connacht. They are taking on the threes. Darcy Graham winning try. Says cross-boarding. And there as well. But yeah, big shot on Ruben van Heeren there. And then Schickerling just going in off the feet. Ended up playing the halfback, was the ruling from the referee. He also kind of left his feet too, so probably fair enough penalty against him. He was confused about it though. Now Sasha Feinberg and Gumer Zulu to line up the first points of the day. When he is kicking well, he's normally playing well. So this is quite an important kick. 38 metres out from the line. 5 minutes through the contest. Can he add the first points of the day? Oh, it only just sticks in the left-hand post, but it does go over. And it now makes the score 3-0 in favour of the home team, the Stormers. They have hosted a final before, the Stormers side. They'll have nothing more to be able to get themselves the massive victory. Nice take there from Evan Russ inside of his 22. Let's go. We'll be looking to get straight back into this contest, though, with some sort of points of their own. Reinach has to dig around in the breakdown. Keep the mail. Says the AO underdog pick. Keep them all. I was confused there for a second. I was thinking, have I been sent a letter that I don't know about? Sione Tui Pilotu going away to the left-hand side. Decides to go for a cross kick. That is close to out on the full. In fact, no, bouncing a couple times. And Sasha just shepherds it into touch. Be about 7 metres out. Oh. Okay, he's tried to milk a penalty. Referee's not even seen it. But it is now going to be a Stormers line out. They are only a few metres out from their own try line, maybe about 7 metres. And Andre Hugo Fenta, a very important throw here for him. Bit of a huddle here from the Stormers. They have worked out the plan of how best to keep this ball on their side. I think if Glasgow are smart, they'll throw up a man no matter what. That then means that Andre Hugo Fenta has to throw this straight rather than a skew with one. Going up for it. And it's taken in the middle by Ruben van Heeren. They're trying to get that penalty advantage there, the Stormers, and they're making some pretty nice meters while doing so. Oh, you know what, Nettling for Shea has gone absolutely flying in. The Stormers are outside of the 22, trying to break away. Was Andre Hugo Fenta throwing it out the back. Reinach. It goes to Fouché. Now Reinach. And behind to Sasha Feinberg and Gumer Zulu. This one cannot find touch on the full, but instead he will boot it right down the middle of the field. Glasgow had a man back there. Now running this one back, it is going to be Ollie Smith. Good work in the breakdown from Evan Russ. He's landed on his head though, so isn't able to go for that ball. Afshar plays half. Xander Ferguson picked up and dropped. And he's dropped the ball as well. Now, counter-attacking chance. Lelion Zas doesn't receive the pass from Ruan now. Short side now for Ruben van Heeren. Now 25 metres out from the try line. Kobus Reinach back across. Damian Valimza, first receiver. It's his second touch of the day. He did touch it right at the start of the game. Ruan now shoveling it on to Lelion Zas. He runs down the wing, trying to score, but he is going to be dragged down about 7 metres short. He's gone for a risky offload there. Ruben van Heeren is there to be able to grab it. Reinach looks to his side. It looks like Ntuthuku Machunu is going to do the pick and go. This is normally when you're 5 metres out from the line. This is where Ruiz really comes into his own and likes as many carries as possible. Paul de Villiers the same. But it looks like they're going to strategically leave it for Ntuthuku Machunu to again hit this ball up. He's looking for a man on his hip. He has Paul de Villiers. That one's going to be held up. And now Glasgow. Oh, they almost got the steal. They've been told to let it go. Kneeling for Shear. Leaves it alone for Andre Hugo Fenta. Evan Rossi will join the breakdown now for Limsa. Ball on the outside. He doesn't need anyone with him. He's going to be just short of the try line by about half a metre. It looks like Glasgow have given away the penalty. No, they've given away, is it the try? No, they've given away the penalty. In this case, Damian Valimza cannot believe that he was short. It looks like they want to take that quick tap on here for the Stormers. And my perception of tonight's Super Rugby H. Blues Jackal needs work, but Reds kept that scramble like their D. Says the AI underdog pick. I think the Blues also just took their foot off the gas. They went from looking like really aggressive at the start of the second half to then looking like they were just kind of cruising. Which I think almost, well, it did almost cost them in the end. Now going away, oh, beautiful, to Ntuthuku Machunu. And he will score the first try of the contest. He was going to be off in 3 minutes with an injury. We have got there, I guess I seem to think he got it, says Yanko, or they've got it now anyway. Ntuthuku Machunu, the first man to score in this game. And that is really nicely done. And I don't think they'll be too mad about that, the Stormers locals. They decide to take that quick tap. We have got there, let's see, Marcus Miller, the next Jacques Fleury. And also Kane's on at the breakdown, put a statement on Richie. Says, yeah, I underdog pick. And also, why are you picking Artie Savia? Or what are you picking Artie Savia ends up doing if Moana do go under? Where would you like to see him play? I think Artie's got some big decisions to make here. Because the money's in Japan. But he also said if Razor was gone and or if the things changed within the All Blacks. Like, it wasn't specifically if Razor's not gone, but yeah, he's pretty much said if things don't change, he's going to go to Japan. Things have changed, so now he's almost obligated that he has to play for the All Blacks a little bit. But, you know, that Japanese contract's probably getting bigger and bigger by the day. It'll be interesting to see which way he goes. I don't know whether or not the Hurricanes would take him back, because they already have Braden Yossi, Peter Lakai, Brad Shields, Devin Flanders, Duplessis Karefi. So you might have to look at another New Zealand side if he's making the return. Give us Reinach. Kicks that ball up high. Come on, Glasgow lock in. Says, hey, no, yeah, they're currently down by the 10 points after 10 minutes, which is not where they wanted to be at this stage of the contest. Come on, the Stormers. This is a must-win for us, says Rudy. If they want that home final in Cape Town, there have been a lot of talks about how close the Stormers are to setting a season record for attendance. Of course, having finals there would be great to see the full stands in Cape Town too. It looks like there will be 3 South African teams in the playoffs, could potentially have an all South African final, depending on results, says Anthony. That one's going high. Chasing after it was Damian Valimza. That is an incredible take from Kyle Rowe. He didn't look safe under that ball at all. In fact, it was Kyle staying with the penalty awarded to the Stormers again. They are just staying relentless at this stage. Calling it now, Artie playing 7 for the Blues. Oh, that would be interesting. Do you think he'd go to the Blues? I don't know if he would, you know, like, don't get me wrong, like, they probably have some decent money to offer him, but I feel like I can see him maybe considering Dunedin. Just a little bit, maybe, you know. But now, they have kicked this one into touch, calling it now. Oh no, I read that one. And also they bring him to the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs need him though, do they? Other than the injuries that they've got at the moment. Papali and... Oh, that's a fair point that Papali and Satutu are gone. Maybe that does leave a gap for him. How would Blues fans feel about having Savia in their mix? I feel like there was that rivalry there for a while, wasn't there? It's kind of weird that now sides that didn't like Savia have to now potentially sign him. Now Sasha going for the grubber in behind. Damien Williams are chasing after that one. Nicely cleaned up at the back by Kyle Rowe, but they'll go back for another penalty advantage. There's been a few of those throughout the early stages of this match. Artie's welcome into Dunedin if he gets desperate. And also we've got there, looks like it could be three. Oh no, I read that one about the three South African sides in the playoffs. I just hope that they don't end up playing each other in the quarters. But the chances are we would potentially see, someone like maybe Stormers versus Lions or Bulls versus Lions. Could be a playoff match. Now we have got there, this is the Blues house. Says the underdog Bick. And Crusaders would happily take him, says Studs Race. Yeah, that would be weird though, seeing him wearing the red and the black. I'm curious to know what Julian Savia does, because does he hang up the boots now that he's had another injury, or does he keep on going and look for another side? This is going to be a rolling maul attempted here by the Stormers. It's nicely done. That looked a very illegal play from Jack Dempsey. Untatuka Machuno is through for another try, and it's going to be a yellow card for the Glasgow Warriors as well due to that infringement from Dempsey. Untatuka Machuno has scored 2 tries, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the first 13 minutes of this game. I can tell you right now, that was definitely not supposed to happen. Did you see Carl Rahul's IPL score today? No. I haven't actually watched a second of the IPL. I haven't seen a single ball bowled in that competition or a single shot played. But the Stormers, they are up 15-0 now in this game up against the Glasgow Warriors. It is definitely a dream start for the Stormers side, but they have to keep that pressure on. I was in Cape Town for 26 days recently. Honestly, I've travelled the world. If I could live anywhere, it would be Simonstown or anywhere on that southern peninsula. What an amazing city, says Ghetto there. I realised I said Ghetto Gang the first time. I apologise. It's Ghetto Greg. Let's go. I mess what happened, man, says Big Rig. Yeah, they're struggling away from home at the moment. They need an intervention, says Big Rig. And wait till Glasgow get possession, says Hayno. Well, they're going to need it soon, because they're currently down by 17 in this contest, which is just a bit too much of a number for their liking after only 15 minutes. Your opinion on the new Christchurch Stadium, Crusaders' new home? I think it looks nice. I've seen some people say that they don't like it, but I feel like that's like anything. But overall, from what it sounds like, pretty much everyone who's gone there has been happy with the experience. They've said that the food's good. They've said it's nice and tidy. It's well laid out. Plenty of space. So, yeah, I think it's going to be good for them. Glasgow went too deep in the Champions Cup. Maybe. Some of those guys still aren't actually back into this side. Okay, so Xander Faganson was just asking the reason of the yellow card for Jack Dempsey, but it was through illegally joining that maul. The time has been turned back on. 15 minutes in. 17-0 for the Stormers. Yep, nicely done. Ruben van Heeren takes it on the 22. Untatuka Machuno, though, to have 2 tries at this stage is just incredible, really. I always mention about how the guys, in regards of like the next try scorer or the first try scorer, props are not given any love whatsoever. Who scored the last try? Untatuka Machuno. He scored 2 so far in this game. Oh, loose ball there for Glasgow. Untatuka Machuno, one of the first players to get towards it. There's a football battle going on. Those 2 boys are going to need their shin guards, and if they're going to keep on fly booting like that. Afshar has the ball there for the Glasgow Warriors, just outside of their 22. Rush defence from the Stormers again, who are looking to be aggressive early here. Try and just take Glasgow completely out of this game. I asked the ref a question, but the ref doesn't understand my accent. Says Xander. Now, slap back. Look at that bounce going straight to Ruan now. A bit of a falling Ruan now there in the challenge too. Glasgow had a massive run of the Champions Cup, and that along with the Six Nations has impacted their squad in the URC. Now going away to the left-hand side. Now short ball from Faimbu Ngume Zulu. It's nicely played there. And there is a knock-on from the Stormers, which means Glasgow are going to have themselves the scrum feed just out from their own 22. Still not going to be too easy to be able to get that one moving. Once again, we'll go like this. And we'll go like that as well. I just did a translation of what NDR said. Glasgow is going to see them wet. What does that mean? I feel like the English translation probably doesn't mean the same thing as what the Afrikaans meaning is, I would think. Unless the Stormers are going to wet them somehow. I guess it was raining in Cape Town, wasn't it? So maybe that's what the reference is. Rugby language ain't hard. Says the AI underdog pick. Right, time is back on here. There are about 5 or 6 drinks runners out there on the park currently. The cheerleaders, they are doing their job, firing up the crowd. Although I think that's Unthathuka Machunu doing most of that at this stage with his double already after 16 minutes of this game. And now Glasgow Warriors, the scrum feed here from just outside of their 22. No, it's a typo. Should be get not net. So what would it mean with that typo changed? Is there still wet involved in it, or is it something else? I'm just visualising Harding breaking off the back of the scrum and passing to Tangi Tau to score at Forsyth Bar. Just a strange feeling I have. Says Jason. Now scrum feed Afshar. Glasgow will potentially look to run this one out. They actually normally are decent from inside of their own 22, getting that ball out, definitely if they can go off the back, although this scrum's going to be difficult as they are missing Dempsey. It's a big push from the Stormers, but the ball is there for Afshar. Goes away to Sione Tuipilotu in behind. Nice run there from Adam Hastings. Almost runs into his teammate. And now a grubber down the wing. That ball, it could be a 50-22 if it bounces the right way, but it goes back infield. Awkward bouncing one for Leleon Zas. And kicks it downfield. Doesn't manage to find touch. Glasgow going to score 2 tries before the Stormers score points again. Says Haino. Now Hastings looking for the cross kick. His teammate chasing after it. Nicely taken by Kyle Stain. Now Afshar. Ooh, that was a rough pass and it's knocked on by Glasgow. Counter attack now for the Stormers. No title for the Landers next year, even with Holland. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the Landers go from here because, you know, they've signed a few decent players this year. They would have loved to have Holland and Pledger, of course, in their mix, but I think they've done all right-ish without them. They aren't where they want to be, of course, but had some solid games along the way. That's a nice tackle made on Ollie Smith. No, Amish, nothing wet equals arses. Wait, so the translation was, where did it go? Translate is going to see them arses. Glasgow is going to see them arses. Okay, I think it still doesn't translate great, unless he's saying that, like, the Storm is going to maybe brown eye them a little bit. Maybe. Just for fun, I guess. Translation is Glasgow is going to see their asses. So what does that mean, though? And JB should get Corey. We have got their wet. That was a typo. It's Glasgow will see their asses. Literally, it's an Afrikaans expression. Says Youngco. The Blues lost in dramatic fashion, unfortunately. They didn't. They won. They won their game up against the Reds in the golden point time. They managed to get themselves the victory. Oh, unless you're talking about the Cardiff Blues maybe instead. We are a quarter of the way through this contest. No title in the near future. 2015 team would beat the current crop by 13 plus for sure. Pack weight's 920 kgs for the Glasgow Warriors, 916 kgs for the Stormers, meaning Glasgow will lose. Oh, it's going to be a weird push from both of the sides. A little bit of an early stand up there from Glasgow. That's not a bad thing, I don't think. Free kick for the Stormers is probably the ideal scenario. And I think Nettling Foucher is just saying that. He's saying this seems like something that they've done on purpose. That one's going to be kicked high from Sasha downfield off the free kick. Similani chasing after it, but it's well taken by Kyle Rowe. Can anyone stop the Springboks from claiming another Rugby World Cup based on current form? Squad depth tactics, says Anthony. Depends. You know, the World Cup, it is getting closer, but it's still 18 months away. And the beauty of the international game is sides have gotten a lot closer throughout the last, I'd say, about 3 years as a whole. So, you know, depending on tactics, depending on what the plans are from other teams, but South Africa are definitely going to be the side that a lot of sides want to beat. I can tell you that right now, but whether or not they can could be a different story. Jason, tough game. These 2023 boys put a dig in today's rugby. And non-literal translation conveys its best. Glasgow will have the asses kicked. That makes a bit more sense, to be fair. And also we have got that typical Afrikaans saying, basically means they will get slammed, says Louis. And the Ospreys was formerly known as Neath Swansea Ospreys. One's going to be now dropped by Glasgow. The pop pass there. Now sitting only about 10 metres out from the try line. Oh no, penalty awarded to the Glasgow Warriors. I was about to say Intensifying Machunu get himself a third in this contest with them on the attack, but it was nicely done by Ewan Furry. Or Fetty, I should say. Amish needs a few months in South Africa to learn the language and slang. Says Joe. It's good work initially from Nedling for share, getting the offload up to Andre Huka-Fenta, but Hastings put in the good shot, and then from there, Fetty straight over the ball. And all I know is 2015 would wipe today's era, but a strong game against Foz's team. Says the underdog pick. Line out here for the Glasgow Warriors. 5 penalties against them so far in this contest. Oh, that wasn't anywhere near straight. No lift play on that. Looked like there was a little bit of a lift from the Stormers. Looking for the steal there was Paul de Villiers. And it's the danger of this Stormers team. They are very strong when it comes to getting that ball in the breakdown. If Glasgow just pass the ball to each other, it would be great. Says Haino. Someone somewhere is getting very rich today by betting on Intensifying Machunu hat-trick. We're even backing him to score a try right at the start of this game. He was paying $10. To score the first try of this game was paying about $58. So, yeah, if you backed him to score a couple tries in quick succession, you're probably happy at the moment with what you've seen. That is going to be a penalty awarded to the Stormers. That is against Xander Fagerson. So that is now penalty number 6 against the Glasgow Warriors. They're going to have to change that stat soon. They can find themselves with another man going to the bin. This is a decision I don't really agree with from the Stormers. They are taking on 3 points. Now, don't get me wrong, 20 points in the lead is very nice, but you're playing a Glasgow Warriors side that for 90 more seconds have a man off the field. That is the time when you've already had them concede 6 penalties to go for the jugular, kick it for the corner, and try and get another yellow card before that other yellow expires. Penalty against me, something like that. How's it, Hamish? Craig from St. Francis Bay. And welcome back, Craig. Hope you are doing well. I'm pulling the pants down, showing the asses. Says Samuel, like a down trout. That one's going to be kicked there for Sasha Feinberg Zulu. He's missed it away to the side. And that further reiterates my point as to maybe that they shouldn't have done that. And instead continue to be attacking like they have been throughout the first 22 minutes of this game. The biggest difference from when the Highlanders won Super Rugby till now is the leadership and team culture. Nasi Manu and Ben Smith have meant just as much to that team off the field. And Stormers will self-destruct, says Samuel. Okay, not if you miss, obviously, says Yanko there. That one's going to be kicked high from Adam Hastings. Down towards the halfway line. That's a good driving tackle. Let's go looking for the seal. Here comes Intensifying Machunu. It's becoming a bit of a dangerous ball runner, that man. Weird choice. I got it all over Glasgow plus the card. Yeah, see, maybe if it was 15 on 15, but the fact that they have the man advantage for that little bit more time, and Glasgow are so penalty-ridden in this early part of the match, that's when you really try and turn it on. Oh, nice take from, I believe that was their number 7, Angus Fraser. That was a mistake from Sasha Feinberg, Zulu, and Alcione Tuipalotu running it up the field. Sasha has to make the tackle. Offload there goes to Evan Ruiz. And they've saved themselves there, the Stormers, but boy, was it a big mistake, and Glasgow get the penalty. Oh, Hastings takes it quickly. This is a bold call, but a pass out wide and a chance here for Ollie Smith. He steps in and Glasgow score, which once again further reiterates that that was a terrible choice for 3 from the Stormers. Even Gaza didn't work on the wing. Maybe they'll try Intensifying Machunu on the 14 next. And early too, says the underdog pick, but the 7th career try for Ollie Smith. Glasgow Warriors, they've broken their drought. They've got the try now in this game. And they did it with 14 on the field. The Glasgow Warriors, though, getting that wide ball. Hastings, that was one of those plays there. A quick tap can either work in your favour or go well and truly against you. But Sasha trying to grub her in behind, and it was beautifully claimed by Angus Fraser. Popped it up to Tui Pilotu, and they made 50 metres from it, the Glasgow Warriors. A couple minutes that Sasha will soon want to forget missing a kick and giving a try to the opposition. Now, and Hastings will want to forget about that kick. That one has missed away to the right-hand side, and that is going to keep the score at 17 points to 5. Glasgow will also be back to the 15 men on the field now. This game is absolutely flying by. We're already 25 minutes through. But a great finish from Ollie Smith, just stepping all around the place. Do you like pie? Depends on the pie. What type of pie are we talking? Can you please turn your screen so we can see, please? Sadly, if I showed any match footage or audio, we'll get me taken straight off YouTube with a copyright strike. We get banned for 3 months, which would be very unfortunate because I wouldn't know what I'd do with myself for 3 months if I wasn't doing streaming. Probably just sit here very bored. But it is on URC TV. It's on DSTV as well for you guys in South Africa. But sadly, not a lot of free-to-air subscription or free-to-air options in general for these games. Kobus Reinach goes across to Ruan now. And nice driving tackle from Sione Tuipilotu, almost driving him into touch. Now, Evan Rus, two-man tackle on him. Mistake made there by the Stormers in the breakdown. Glasgow now get another counter-attacking chance. The ball is in the hands of Dempsey. He'll be fresh. In fact, it's Hugh Jones moving up to the halfway line. Tuipilotu looks back in good nick. Now Xander Ferguson trying to bump off the tackle attempt of Reinach. Chicken pie. I do like a good chicken pie, to be fair. Oh, good run there from the Glasgow Warriors, who are starting to make some more meters for fun. Will you please turn your screen so that we can see? Like I just mentioned, it's illegal to show any match footage or audio on YouTube without the copyright owner's permission. So sadly, we won't be able to show anything, but we can do the play-by-play. Luckily, that is not illegal. Now, rolling this one back is Afshar. Are you doing Challenge and Champions Cup next week? I believe so. Some of it anyway. Now, this one's going high. Off the box kick. That one's going to be knocked back onto the side of Afshar. He's right next to the sideline. Decides to run it himself. But by that, I mean he just pretty much fell over. Sasha Feinberg is overconfident. Needs to be dropped. Says Joe. Now, Adam Hastings. Stepping around. Gets around a couple. He slipped in pretty much the same spot that Afshar did. Something on that far side of the field. That's obviously where some of the players had some drinks. It's become a slip and slide out there. Jack Dempsey running this one forward again. Hello, can you please turn your screen so that we can see? I think maybe you have it on mute, Ethan. Perhaps. Or you just don't like listening. That one's going to be kicked downfield. Sasha going up for it. It's slapped back by Glasgow, but it sits up for Ruan now with the ball on the inside to Kobus Reinach. That man is quick off the mark. He has Sasha with him, who passes one more. And Evan Rus, it's a foot race here, and the big man goes over again for the Stormers. How many games in a row is it now for Evan Rus? Because it feels like a massive amount. And they must bring on Yuri Matia for Sasha. Says Yanko there. Hamish in the past wore a welding helmet. So you can see the game in the reflection of the helmet. And also we got there, can you please... Oh no, I read that one tonight. Hello. Hamish, how's it going on your side? I'm loving this game at the moment. I'll be honest. This is a brilliant try for the Stormers. Just a loose ball picked up there. And then Kobus Reinach going on the inside to Sasha Feinberg Zulu. And then from there, Evan Ruiz just quick as a flash, getting over the line and scoring a very well-worked try. You can visit the bowling alley a bit more in search of a lady. We went to that bowling alley not too long ago for our cricket breakup. And I actually somehow won the first round of the bowling, although the bowling machine, like the one registering the pins and whatnot, was giving me extra pins. So I won. So that was quite nice. But then the last round I shot about a quarter of how much I did because I was trying to spin the ball. That one has missed away to the side for... Oh, no, in fact, it's gone over, for Sasha. So it does make the score now 24 points to 5. Evan Ruiz must join the Stormers. He's at the Stormers. We have got there up the wires, says Mondo. I'm bad at bowling, says Fleshin. And Marcus Miller in. He's not on the field as of yet. I'm going to have to wait a little bit longer till he does get that chance. But he is off the bench for the Stormers in this game. Kobus Reinach. Again, putting this ball up high. And Lilian Zas going up for it, not able to take it cleanly that time. Now, big run from Patrick Schickerling. The Springboks, says Mohadeen. Well, as long as his dad doesn't make any phone calls to Rassi, he should be able to potentially make the squad. Now, another step there. Hastings deciding where to go. He runs straight at Evan Ruas, who makes the low tackle, who scored the last try. Evan Ruas was the last try scorer. And Ruas is a bowler. Says Samuel, that's a great run from Hugh Jones, and he just lets it slip through his fingertips, although the referee does go back for the initial penalty in favour of the Glasgow Warriors. Looks like Hugh Jones may have a little bit of a limp here. Will be a concerning sign for this Glasgow Warriors team. He's already got a heavy strapping on that left leg. Already 21 minutes through. 31 minutes through in this contest. It has been going at 1,000 miles an hour. I think both of these sides will probably get quite tired as this match wears on. Looks like Ben Jason Dixon just getting a little bit of medical attention there. So can we go like this? We will go like that as well. They are just saying if this game ends the way that it is currently, the Stormers would be sitting in the number 1 spot. That would be pretty handy, I would think, for the side as a whole. But there is still time remaining. Of course, if they get themselves a bonus point, that gives them that nice little boost up too. Cheers for the streams today, Hamish. Bedtime for this fella. So, starts race. So we may see you tomorrow for those Super Rugby matches, or at least maybe one of them along the way. We got Highlanders versus Moana Pacifica, followed by the Chiefs versus Fiji and Roa. 9 minutes left of this first half. 24 points to 5. The way that it does currently sit. But a line out here for Gregor Hiddleston. A good position on the field for this Glasgow Warriors team. Try and get something big going. It looks like Ewan Furey is going to make his way off of the field due to an injury. Oh, okay, I don't know what happened there. They were about to throw it, Glasgow, then decided against it. It's going to be Cockburn making his way onto the field in that number 19 jersey. Oh, referee is still trying to control this line out. We have got there, will it be the first time Stormers beat the Glasgow Warriors? I'm not sure what happened in the first year that they played each other. I know that since 2023, Glasgow have won 5 from 5. But I'm not sure what happened before that stage. I'll have a quick look and see what I can find in terms of those head-to-heads. Okay, Stormers getting themselves a penalty advantage against them. That was for jumping across the line. One stop is the call. Now, still playing penalty advantage, and they will go back for it. Double blow of the whistle here too from the referee. Stormers beat Glasgow in 2022, 32-7 at this location. Did you say, not quite that one, but combined. I think they also pronounced it as Coburn. So that might be the more realistic one. If you were wearing glasses, I think we could see your TV image. Do you think YouTube would class that as copyright infringement? Just wondering how critical they are. Some people have had copyright strikes from it before. They've tried mirrors in the background. You'd be surprised at how many things people have tried and then been taken down. Of course, they could look at a moment like this and go, okay, he doesn't normally have glasses and now he's doing it because it was mentioned. So, yeah, you got to be very careful because at the end of the day, you're still trying to show illegal content that, maybe I've paid for, but you guys sadly have not. So it means that if I show anything, then that's not good. It's illegal distribution. That is a not straight throw from the Glasgow Warriors. We have got there. Am I correct that the Stormers will go top with current score? You are correct. Yes, Byron. That is the way that they would like it to stay. But it is going to be the scrum for the Stormers team. Don't think they'll be a mile away from making some changes here. They normally like to make those changes around that kind of halfway mark-ish, I would say. Patrick Schickerling. Well, sorry, not Patrick Schickerling, but who was I trying to say? Ben Jason Dixon. I don't think he's going to be out there much longer. Seemed like he had a few injury issues. Unfortunately for him, coming the Stormers, says Bruce. And hope the Druid can put up a good fight against the Chiefs. It would be great to see, definitely after how they played up against the Brumbies last week. Maybe that's lit a little bit of a fire under the drawer for away games now. Imagine going over 3 years without winning an away game to then win 2 in a row up against top sides like the Brumbies and the Chiefs. That would be pretty incredible. Kobus Reinach about to put this one in. There are ways to watch this game where you are in jeopardy, not Amish, says Fleshin. That one has been put into touch. That is true as well, isn't it? They've got those sites, although wouldn't recommend some of them. You end up with a heap of ads spamming that there are ladies in your area. And fun fact, there are not. But Mexican wave going around the Stormers Stadium at the moment. 6.5 minutes remain in this one. Have you had a slap on the wrist from YouTube? Yeah, multiple. And we haven't ever broken copyright laws, but we've had about 5 copyright strikes. So it just shows you how strict it is, the fact that even when we haven't shown things, we've been copyright struck. Now, Andre Hugafinta. I should have got the penalty on the scrum there, says Yanko. Now thrown in, nicely taken at the front from Ruben van Heeren. This one wheeling around a little bit there. Glasgow have to be very careful with how they've been joining these rolling mauls. They've got themselves in a little bit of trouble from doing so. I'm being told to use it again. On our way to the right-hand side, Ben Jason Dixon carries that one. Now that one's going to be kicked downfield. Nice take. And on the halfway line now, running this one back is Kyle Rowe. He's shown some real pace. Oh, he's been absolutely smashed from the side, and this is a stoppage. Yeah, this was quite bad from Nettling Fouché. He's having a push and shove with the ref. I don't think he meant to. He was trying to go for the player behind the ref, but he almost ended up grabbing the ref by the collar there. That's something he's got to be very careful about. But this looks bad for Kyle Rowe. He has been knocked almost unconscious here from the shot from Nettling Fouché. Also, one of the Stormers players is down. But this might be bad. We're going to see it in real time. Kyle Rowe is running forward. Change of direction. Ugh, he does slip over. So I don't think it would be anything too serious. YouTube is not strict, they are unreasonable. I don't think they're unreasonable. They just have to do what they have to because of, from companies or broadcasters copyright striking and threatening to sue them. They have to cover their own backside. So it's not their fault when they have to do the striking side of things. Okay. So the ref's just having the conversation there with Nettling Fouché. They are going upstairs to check something here. Is it even a penalty, says Haino? It might be a penalty slightly, but nothing too serious, I wouldn't think. And I think it's just a slip from Kyle Rowe. To be fair, first guy for South Africa, or for the Stormers, in that case it was Array Smith. It is head on head between those two. But he is slipping downwards, so I don't think it's going to be anything bad. If anything, they'll say he was slightly high, but he would have hit him in the chest. But yeah, he makes good contact with the head of Kyle Rowe. Have you got a 3-month ban, Hamish? We'll have to club together for an air ticket so you can holiday here in South Africa, says Bruce. Okay, both going low, both trying to make a legal tackle. So it's going to be all cleared, and I don't actually know whose ball it will be now. I think it will be Glasgow's ball because referee did the triple blow of the whistle to stop the game. Second, we'll go like this. And I like that as well. Give them the good Stormers. And Smash and Bro reaction. And great call, says Haino. And the ref is brilliant, says Yanko. And do people want you to go to jail? Only you, Mohadeen. But then the thing is, you keep on saying, Hamish, you should go to jail. But then you also keep on saying, Hamish, you should come to my wedding. So the problem is, if I am in a jail cell, they won't probably release me to go to a different country to go to a wedding. Right, Kyle Rowe has to go off the field here for his HIA. He looks a little bit confused about everything, so hopefully he's going to be all right. But, yeah, I don't think he's going to be continuing in this match. Now scrum feed for the Glasgow Warriors. Afshar will be the man to feed the ball in. I mentioned there is another game taking place in around an hour and a half, ladies and gentlemen. That is Connacht versus the Lions. We have got Haino covering that one, but I will be back for the Bulls Scarlets game at 6:30 a.m. New Zealand time. There's no way Kyle was passing into HIA. Hope he's not too badly concussed. And no tenses in jail. He wants a prison wedding. First the wedding, now jail. What's next, says Xander. Now big push there from the Stormers. Ball on the side of Afshar. Been dropped in a good tackle, and now Stormers just in off their feet there in the breakdown, so the penalty goes the way of the Glasgow Warriors. Oh no, tenders in jail. Yeah, that's true. I haven't actually had a chicken tender in a long time. I went through a little patch about a week ago where I think I became a child again in terms of I was quite enjoying chicken nuggets. You know, they're not too bad sometimes, the old chicken nuggets. But yeah, straight in off the feet there for Evan Ruiz. Just couldn't quite get his feet underneath him, although he had nothing to push against, to be fair to him. But now Glasgow and Stormers, they've actually conceded 6 penalties each. There was a time when it was 6-1 in favour of the Stormers, just giving away the 1 penalty. 9-out throw. Well done again from Hiddleston, getting that one right. Sione Tui Palotu. Going to be about 3 metres out from the line. When you have KFC and Spur. What's Spur? I haven't had KFC in a wee while, though. I've been quite well disciplined. To be fair, I haven't had cricket, so that helps because KFC's 30 minutes away. So if you're not playing cricket, it's a long trip. Oh, yellow card for Kopis Rainak. Interesting. KFC found a loophole, and you can now do deliveries in prison. But you have to order through Uber Eats, says Xander. That is a loophole. But Rainak will get taken off the field. Okay, maybe not all that brilliant after all, says Yanko. But now this is where Glasgow have to make the most of this man advantage. Thrown in. Nicely taken. This one side shuffling at the moment, although now it starts to move forward. Hiddleston, there's another advantage. Tell you what, they have to be careful. Hiddleston scored it perhaps. They just want to check to see if he was already down. But if he wasn't, this could actually be a chance of another yellow card. Cards up north, says the AI underdog. Right. This is all going to be checked. Hiddleston doesn't look happy, but he doesn't look sad, so I think he might have scored it. Okay. So the touch judge was trying to tell the referee that there was something they needed to check. The referee said to him very bluntly, is there a grounding? Do you see a grounding? Referee, touch judge said yes. And then referee said, I'm happy with everything else. Try's good. You're allowed 1 movement. That is what Hiddleston used. And Glasgow have got themselves a try straight away after the Stormers got sent to the bin. That kick has also gone over, making the score now 24 points to 12. 2.5 minutes remaining in this first half. This is where the Stormers have to be very careful. So they concede another try up against the Glasgow Warriors here. That completely changes momentum heading into that second 40 minutes. That is nicely done by Hiddleston. We have here, what do you do with all your money, Hamish? No drinking, no eating. Out, no girlfriend, says Joe Mann. Well, most of it ends up either going into the channel, goes into like food, rent, all that kind of thing. And there's not normally much left. Well, there's a little bit, enough to like, you know, get some takeaways and whatnot. Terrible from the ref there. What was wrong with it? One's going to be kicked off. Nicely taken by Jack Dempsey. I completely forgot rugby was happening, says Cited. Now Afshar told to use it. This one's going to be kicked high. And that one's gone into touch. The limbs aren't able to take it cleanly. Yeah, still plenty more rugby coming as well, Cited. I think he definitely could have had a second look at the try. Although it seems like it was the right decision. Like Hiddleston, obviously from the referee's vantage point, he went, you know what? He's got it his way over there. And like to me, it looked like it was a fair grounding. We need Afshar off. Says Hano. Who uses rugby to entertain us. A group of rough diamonds, says Jason. Now Andre Hugo Finta. He throws that ball in. It's gone over the top and nicely taken by Dempsey. Tackled by Sasha around the halfway line. But Glasgow again looking to get one more attack going before the end of the half. Afshar. That's a bit of a rough pass. It bounces to Hugh Jones, who looks like he's recovered from his leg injury. I don't know why Glasgow have decided to kick that ball. It goes into touch about 30 metres out from the Stormers line. But in terms of next week's games, tell you what, we'll wait till half-time and then we'll show you, seeing as we're only 30 seconds away from there. But next week there are no games of the URC. Instead, Challenge and Champions Cup. 24-12 all of a sudden. The Stormers wanting to lose this game. Says Xander. We'll mention neither of these sides have got a bonus point the way that it currently sits. Glasgow not within 7. Stormers not with 4 tries on the board. They just need the one more to be able to get into that position. Right, Ututuku Machunu. Communication there with his number 2. Line out throw. That one is claimed nicely. Now we have got Sifi Pello in there as well. I said hi, welcome in. If you are doing well, that's the halftime siren here for the Stormers. And it looks like they are just happy enough to kick that one in today. Leon Zas is the man to do it. And that is now going to be halftime in this contest. 24 points to the 12. Need Glasgow to score before halftime. And again, says Hano, well, that is now halftime. So they didn't quite get there. I think that the wrong choice was kicking that ball in behind. But, yeah, like if they come out second half and score before the end of that yellow card, they could be going all right. Who got the yellow card? It was Kibis Reinach in that case. But we'll go here. Champions and Challenge Cup are the games that are taking place next week, ladies and gents. But in terms of the next round of the URC, that is in 2 weeks' time. Glasgow play Cardiff. Ulster play the Stormers, and the Bulls, they have their game up against Zebra, which should be a relatively comfortable one. The Sharks play Benetton, although for the Sharks side, they are now slightly out of the, well, they're close and, well, no, not really. It's going to be tricky for the Sharks because they've got 2 more games. They can get a maximum of 10 points. Or it might even be 3 games. But I think that top 8's just a little bit too far away for the Sharks side now. But looking through at the other games, Ospreys versus Scarlets. Also Leinster versus Lions. There's also Dragons versus Edinburgh. And then there is Connacht versus Munster as the matches. But looking through at the Challenge Cup, that is Leinster, for the Challenge Cup, it is going to be, where are we? Challenge Cup Rugby, I need to go, rather than Rugby League. Challenge Cup Rugby, it is Ulster versus Exeter. That is taking place Sunday, 3 May for us, 4:30 a.m. So that is 6:30 p.m. for you guys in South Africa. Also Montpellier playing the Dragons, who got themselves another away win in the earlier games of this URC round. So they are loving away games currently, that side. Champions Cup, it's Leinster versus Toulon and also Bordeaux versus Bath. Now, I am hoping to cover both of those games on the channel with a little bit of luck, alongside maybe 1 or 2 of the Challenge Cup games as well. We have got streaming Highlanders versus Moana. That is the plan. And then we've also got their Sharks can't make us decided. Last game killed their chances. And it's just really disappointing, isn't it? In terms of the side that they've got, the squad that they have available, who has scored so far. Ututuku Machunu scored twice, believe it or not, the Lucia prop. Evan Ruiz got the other one. And then Ollie Smith alongside second try for Glasgow was Gregor Hiddleston. And starting from the Bulls, says the AI underdog pick. But looking at the way that the table currently sits, there we go. We will pop that up on the screen. As you can see, the points differential between these two sides is 20. Which does mean that if the Stormers manage to win this game by a total of 11, they would pop themselves right up to the top of the table. Currently, they're separated by 12, so they would go into that number 1 spot with the way that the scoreboard currently sits. Stormers can still get themselves another point if they are able to get themselves 1 more try throughout the second 40. The Stormers, Glasgow, we got there in the end. They can get themselves potentially 2 bonus points, even if they were to lose, if they scored 4 tries, so 2 more from here, and also within 7, or if they got themselves the win, in that case, they would get themselves the full 5 if they did score the 4 tries. Oh, we have got there, my bad, Lions. And how you doing the Under-20 Rugby Championship? That is the plan. So we are going to be covering the game that takes place at midnight between New Zealand and Australia, and then also South Africa versus Argentina. That'll be on Tuesday morning. So I'll be staying up till around maybe 4:30 a.m. New Zealand time, and then at that point, there's no point in sleeping before work on Tuesday morning. But I think it will be worth it. The games last year in the Under-20s Rugby Champs was very entertaining. So hopefully it's the same this year. Spain have beaten most top sides. If only their 25s or 15 squad can be that competitive, move up in the world rankings, says Anthony. And will we see the Cheetahs merge with the Riquas and Boland in next year's URC? Word on the street is yes. No, probably not. Because I think that there's been something to do with the Welsh sides that says that they're extending till about 2028, right? I know that Fleshen said about it the other day, but they aren't actually leaving as quickly as people thought for the Welsh teams. Hopefully Fleshen is still here, and if he is, he'll be able to say exactly what it is, seeing as he has that inside, well, not insider knowledge, he just has that knowledge. Surely the Stormers can get at least one more. Question is, will it be Kibble or Porfin? Or maybe JJ Coetzee, says Yanko. JJ Coetzee probably not a bad shout. Rolling more chance in the second half could be coming for the Stormers. It's something that both sides have used relatively well. Won the Under-20s last year. New Zealand managed to win it. They had a draw with Australia in their first game. They beat Argentina by about 50 points, and then they beat South Africa in South Africa by 3 to win the overall competition. And that was an incredible game as well, from memory, 48-45 or something along those lines. As a sad state of affair in Wales, Sayre cited, and their rugby strength. No, I'm joking. I actually like Wales in terms of a location. I think my parents are going there near the end of the year. Maybe. I know they're doing quite a few places in Europe. Moana is finishing this year, says Mohadeen. And we have better if the Welsh teams leave. I mean, if they're still getting funded and they still have a couple years in them, I think leave them in there. At the end of the day, it does make the competition a lot more even because, you know, you chuck an extra South African team in there, then they've got more sides than any other area in terms of do you play the South African combined team as a part of the South African trophy, or do you play them as a foreign unit that aren't actually considered South African? Because that's the tricky part of it, that they'll have a lot of decisions. No decision until 2028. There is no reason they'll actually kill a team. Says Flesh in there, Marcus Miller, yet to make his way out onto the field, but I'm looking forward to seeing that man in the second half. South Africa won last year, not the you're talking about the Under-20s Championship rather than the Under-20s Rugby Championship, Mohadeen. So yeah, they won the Under-20s competition, but we're talking about the Under-20 Rugby Championship, which has taken place in only about 3 days' time, which New Zealand won. We have got their Marcus Miller play. Not yet. About to. Hopefully in the second half we will get to see him in action for a little bit of time. I don't actually know who they'd bring him on for. I don't know who you'd replace, because Leon Zasa's had a couple good moments. I think that Similani's done not too bad. If you can introduce a few new rugby rules, speed up the game and make it more appealing to worldwide countries, what would it be? It's a tricky question to answer without offending certain countries, I think. But I think scrum resets, you know, the amount of times that you see that, like if a side's mucking around at scrum time, just free kick them straight away, keep it going. If Wales is Splash TV, what did they ever do to you, Splash TV? Did you get like dumped by a Welsh girl and now you hate the country as a whole? We have there, what if the Welsh national rugby or national team enter the URC as one team rather than one or four domestic teams? That would definitely never happen. Because, I don't think any competition that I can think of has had like an international team alongside like club rugby sides. Why would all the Welsh teams leave? Are we our stakeholders in the URC, says Fleshen? Yeah, and that's kind of the behind-the-scenes stuff that some people don't consider. It's the same with the Six Nations. You know, all the ones who were saying, you know, kick Wales out at some stages don't realise that Wales have quite a hefty share in terms of like the decision making that goes into that Six Nations competition. So it would be very strange for them to kick themselves out, knowing what it would do for their rugby. Hello, kicking the ball, says Jason. He was eaten by a whale, probably, says Cited. And Hamish joining the Sharks. He signed a contract, says Mohadeen. I don't think they'd want me, although to be fair, there might be some players leaving there. Leave or fold, says Samuel. As in, like, for Wales, I don't think they fold, though. I think, people love to rip into Wales now because they were very good a few years ago. Well, in fact, it was a little bit longer than a few years, wasn't it, for the Welsh? But, they were a side that at one stage were right up there in terms of the rankings. So I think people have enjoyed their downfall, but at the same time, they're going to go back up at some stage. But the only thing that would stop that from happening is if people make bad decisions behind the scenes and they decide to drop their sides from certain comps. Like Wales leaving the Six Nations would hurt Welsh rugby way more than people realise. A bunch of Sharks players leaving for Japan, I think, see cited. A bunch of South African players leaving for overseas clubs. We've seen the Bulls, they've had a mass exodus of their side. We've seen a few Stormers guys looking like they're heading overseas. And Durban is nice, you should do it, says Yanko. Do you blame the captain of or the players of the Sharks? I don't think you can blame the captain. I think that blaming the captain's the easy way out. Same with blaming the coach a little bit. Some of those boys who go out there on the field for the Sharks don't look like they want to play rugby for the Sharks. But, as a coach, you can only do so much to try and fire them up and try and get them in that mentality. But if they know that Russie's going to pick them anyway, they want to avoid injury. So they're going to try absolutely everything they can to avoid losing that opportunity to put on the green and gold. Sharks sold their souls for betting money. You're seeing the chickens come home to roost now. And we have got their Wales to make a comeback, says Cited, after WW3. Well, to be fair, that's pretty much now, isn't it? So there'll be some time in the near future. We have got Wales. We ain't leaving the Six Nations, says Fleshin. Yeah, it would not be something that, and the thing is, I feel like there are also a lot of other sides in the Six Nations who would back Wales and say, look, you've been a part of this competition for a very long time, and we're not just going to ditch you because a few people online don't like the fact that they're underperforming. But you put them in a match up against the Georgians, and they keep on beating Georgia. You put Georgia in their European comp, and they lose the occasional game. So I don't think Georgia, they're not going to ditch Wales, but I also don't think Georgia currently are the team to replace them because there isn't really a right replacement for them because they're not leaving. If Wales create a championship with Zimbabwe and Namibia, surely they have a chance of lifting silverware, says Ander. I think what they should be doing in Africa is having Zimbabwe, having Namibia, having the other countries who have given it a bit of a go, Kenya, and sticking a South Africa A or experimental side in a competition and playing in Africa and promoting African rugby, rather than just having the great matchup coming up in the near future, South Africa A versus Zimbabwe. That is something that should start a new African competition to keep all of those other sides in contention for the World Cup. There's more that could be done if they really wanted to. And I feel like if Zimbabwe hadn't qualified for the World Cup, we probably wouldn't see South Africa A playing them. So it's a bit of a tricky one too. We have got they should make the sixth spot a relegation spot. Yeah, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. Because, to me, the Six Nations is the Six Nations. Those are all the sides. It's like adding a relegation in the Rugby Championship and saying either Fiji or Japan get to go into the competition if they manage to, win the Pacific Nations Cup or something along those lines. And, look, no one is perfect, says Bruce. This is our experimental side, says Xander. I like how Africa sounds in the New Zealand accent, says Yanko, but both sides have made their way back out onto the field. Currently, the way that it sits, a points differential of 4 between these two sides in the overall standings, and it would have the Stormers in the number 1 spot heading towards the end of the overall comp. Now, I will mention, Stormers need one more try, because if they don't get that, Leinster, if they win with a bonus point over Benetton, they shoot up to number 1 spot in the overall standings. Wales have a strong history, says Samuel. Yeah, and they've got, I think, one of the youngest, inexperienced international teams currently around the world, with the exception of some of those lower ranked sides. Probably within the top 15, I would say, with the exception maybe of Japan, because they keep on rotating under Eddie Jones. But like, those young guys, give them a few years and a few more opportunities and they will get a lot better. It's just going to take that little bit of time. That one's going to be kicked off by the Glasgow Warriors. Cheetahs versus Zimbabwe will definitely be a sellout. So here's Xander. Now, this one's going to be available for Lelion Zas, side of the 22. Trying to get the steal was Schickerling, still off the field for, I want to say 5 minutes, will be Kobus Reinach. And the smallest pool of players, says Cited. Yeah, so they've actually punched above their weight for a long time, the Welsh, in terms of recent, history for them. Wales is young, but they're used to losing now, which is something that some sides can't accept. So I feel like they're already one step ahead in that department. Some players, they lose a game, they drop their heads, they hate rugby, and they kind of, go away into the shadows. Because some guys just can't handle a loss. But, for this young Welsh team, when they finally start picking up momentum, they're going to be absolutely loving it. Because they've been through the tough times. It's going to be a penalty won by Paul de Villiers there in the breakdown. Nicely done. And that'll be a frustrating one for the Glasgow Warriors. If the score were to stay like this, Leinster might go top of the log by the end of the day. Yeah, if they get themselves that bonus point win over Benetton. Right, this makes more sense here from the Stormers. They are up by 12, and this time they are going for the 3. That would give them a 15-point lead. But Sasha will still need to get this one over. He has missed 2 so far. 3 so far, and two rather than 3. No, 1. He's missed 1. I've just done the maths in my head. He's sitting 4 from 5. Sometimes the streak is too overwhelming, especially since it's a losing streak. Says Cited. We're now ready to kick this one. Sasha Feinberg Ngume Zulu, 80% off the tee today, although he did miss his last shot at a 3. And that one's looking pretty close, though. It has gone over this time. And that is going to make the score now 27 points to 12 in favour of the Stormers. I remember how cocky the Welsh were when they finally beat the Springboks in 1999. Says Robbie. Yeah, that's the thing. Some people hold grudges. I think that's something that I've learnt from doing these YouTube streams and from also seeing rugby fans online. People don't forget. Which means that some people will go 20 years or longer with just holding the same grudge. It's like when one player does a cheap shot or something like that. People will talk about it at the end of the career, even if it was near the start. So it's look at Darcy Swain, for instance. He still gets talked about from that shot on Quinn Tupaia. Going away to the left-hand side. Nice carry forward from Glasgow, who are sitting around the halfway line. Sione Tuipulotu, Hastings, now moving the ball on to Kyle Steyn. Please tell us when Marcus Miller comes on. He is currently not on yet, but I like to think he won't be too far away from getting a chance. Jack Dempsey. No, I keep on calling him Dempsey, but that time it goes out. Oh, almost a slide tackle there from Lelion Zas, but just getting the pass wrong was actually Hugh Jones. And we have got there how many fans? They haven't shown the attendance number yet, but I'd say 15,000. Somewhere around there at just a first guess. Quaid will never be or forever be booed for what he did. And don't forget Bucky's headshot. That was a bad angle. Says Cited. Have you heard of Marcus Miller? I certainly have. Big opportunity for that man to make a name for himself in this league now after doing so well for his past sides. Try scoring machine, bright talent for the future. But this is going to be a big test for him in this game. We have got the Cocky are just happy to break that duck. Yeah, see, some people do confuse the two. And it also depends on which fans you talk to. I feel like that's the same with every kind of rugby community, isn't it? But now, looking for the steal, and the breakdown was Schickerling. He has just fallen over now. It's going to be there for the box kick, and this looks like it's going to be Sasha playing as the number 9. Very windy in Cape Town today, says I Lollipop. Nice take there from Kyle Steyn, tackled by Lelion Zas around the bootlaces. Now away to the left-hand side against Sione Tuipulotu. He had the man on his outside, couldn't quite get it away. Trying to get that steal. Afshar goes back across to Hastings. Good hands here from the Glasgow Warriors. It's a good run from Patrick Schickerling as well. Getting up to 40 metres out. How did Lions win by last year? How did Lions win by... Oh, last week. They won by 42. And that contest, nice sniping run from Afshar. He's through a big gap and he's going to try and back himself for pace-wise, but he has slipped. He's passed it on the outside to Kyle Steyn, tackled by Sasha Feinberg. Ngame Zulu, it was a crucial one that needed to be made. The Stormers still a man down for the next 90 seconds. Ball out to Sione Tuipalotu. Moving it on one more. Ollie Smith thought about going on the outside. Brilliant tackle once again from the Stormers. Looking for the steal was Damien Balimza. Couldn't get it off sharp. Back across now. Evan Ruiz wanting that steal on the breakdown. Xander Ferguson now taking contact. Looking for the steal this time. And tell you what, I thought he had it there for Andre Smith. Needling for Shares to roll out of the air. He has done well. Now Xander Ferguson, another pick and go. Stormers players, the loose forwards in particular, quick to try and look for that opportunity of stealing the ball. Schickerling, oh, he's knocked it on. And now that turnover chance is having Andre Hugo Fenter. Oh, he's knocked himself out. That is not good. Oh no, he's all right. Well, it looks like that was a weird one. He kind of went into the challenge with Adam Hastings with his elbows up, and he's come down like he's been knocked out from it. We're going to see the replay now. Needling for Shield. Or sorry, not needling for Shield. Andre Hugo Fenter. Okay, shoulder to head is the call here against Hastings. It was a weird... Oh no, that angle looks a bit worse. Hastings does go upright. This might be a yellow card for Hastings here. Stormers top of the table should win this, or should they win this right? If they win it by more than 11. That is nothing. It's a bit more than nothing, I think. There might be a yellow card coming here for Adam Hastings. Just a bit too upright in that challenge. Gonna see the replay in slow motion. It's not too good. It could be worse, but it also could be a lot better. I think he got the wind knocked out of him. He got his eyes rolled back in his head for Andre Hugo Fenter. We see the replay here. He's actually ended up, he's driven up, but the tackle, he kind of shouldered his hand into the face of Andre Hugo Fenter there. Fenter milking it. There's Neil Bester. Okay, meets the yellow card threshold, and Adam Hastings is going to be making his way off of the field. 34 minutes remaining in this game. And now, again, the Glasgow Warriors are going to be back down to 14. He knows that he should have passed. There's Neil Bester. There's going to be a sin bin review just as Kobus Reinach is about to make his way back from the sin bin. It will be the penalty now for the Stormers, about 10 metres out. Rasi son-in-law milking that. See, here's Haino. Reinach, big smile on his face. Is he going to have a chat with Hastings? There was a bit of an acknowledgement for both of the men. There have been harder clashes in training. That one now, JJ Kutsia will have the chance to throw this ball in after the change has been made. No Marcus Muller as of yet, ladies and gentlemen. Still waiting that little bit longer. Reinach also able to return from the sin bin. That is good news for the Stormers there. Is it Rasi son-in-law? Does he play for the Springboks? Says Mohadin. He has had a Springbok opportunity before, Andre Hugo Fenter, but not recently. They've gone more down. In fact, who was it last year that they chucked in there? I should be able to... not Aka van der Merwe, sorry. Manus van der Merwe was the other guy who hadn't had a lot of caps. Don't you think there are too many cards? I think so. But at the same time, they've got to start tackling a bit lower. Because, at this stage, they know that the referees are looking for it and that there are cameras recording their games. So you just can't give any chance of that sort of decision to be made. Now, Reinach going away to the right. He's fresh after making his way onto the field. Pops it up to Dan Duplessis. I think that's the first time we've mentioned him throughout this contest. There's been a lot of skip passes. All that ball's loose there. It looked like a knock-on the ground from the Stormers, but there is the penalty advantage now in the Stormers' favour. And Jason Dixon, looking round for him at the moment. And a new advantage. Now Sasha going away to the left-hand side. Tries the grubber. Chance out wide. And it's picked up by Ruanel. And scores the bonus point try for the Stormers here. There's always disjointed when the 9 is off the field. And more than any other position, it seems. This game has more cards than a game of poker, says Jason. And the Stormers have just made the most of that last yellow card. 32-12. The way that the scoreline sits now with that bonus point intact. Game over, says Ano. And there too. But under penalty advantage, so could throw absolutely everything into it. Sasha Zulu, it was a well-weighted kick and nicely done by Ruanel to be able to stay in the field of play out wide as well. And then just a good steep bounce into the hands of the skipper to score the bonus point try. Sasha from the touchline, 5 from 6 today. And 49 minutes down. And that one has gone over. And that is going to make the score now 34-12 in favour of the Stormers. It's going to remain as a yellow card for Hastings. He will be off the field for 7 more minutes before he makes his way on. Marathon in Wellington, Western Cape this week. So here's Bruce. How many minutes? Currently 49 have passed. And 6 minutes remaining for Adam Hastings. Great kick and boarding kick as well to make it more than 21 points. Now Ronak. It's away to JJ Kurtzia. We'll mention there is an important game around the corner as well, ladies and gentlemen. Another penalty awarded to the Stormers. Niddling Foucher and Xander Fagerson having a bit of a wrestle here. Okay, I think Niddling Foucher was not happy with something that was said by Xander Fagerson, or maybe a shot in the breakdown. Good for business for Wales. Rugby player with 3 first names is ultra suspicious, says Jason. Okay, Sasha Feinberg. Zulu will kick that one into touch. But yeah, important game around the corner in terms of the overall standings, ladies and gentlemen. This is the table, the way that it currently sat before this match took place. Now, currently, the Stormers would be in the number 1 spot. But there's some interesting stuff happening in terms of the Lions. They are going head-to-head with Connacht. If Connacht win that game, they can actually boost themselves right up into 5th place on the overall standings. If it was a bonus point victory, that is absolutely huge. But if they lose that game and the Bulls manage to beat the Scarlets and Munster manage to beat Ulster, that separation ends up being a little bit more substantial heading forward. Line out throw here for JJ Kutsia. One's going to be thrown in, slapped away to the left-hand side. That is Johnny Matthews. Recently made his way on alongside a couple other Glasgow Warriors replacements, including that man, Sam Talakai. Just made his way on. I'm looking through at the Stormers side. Doesn't seem like any other changes have been made for them as of yet. Could Stormers have a game at home? They'll definitely have a quarterfinal at home. It's whether or not they have the semi and the final at home. Currently, I'd say semi's all but confirmed. Well, it's going to be knocked backwards by Glasgow. Now they are going to go in for the scrum. There's not much time remaining in this contest. The live standings does have the Stormers as the number 1. But yeah, that game between the Lions and Connacht, it is kicking off in around 57 minutes' time. And we are going to have Haino actually covering that one for us on the channel, so be sure to check that one out. It is going to have a 10-minute build-up starting at 1:50 a.m, so in 45 minutes' time. And then I will be back for the Bulls versus Scarlets game later on. Your thoughts on most influential player based on skill and form in Super? Tricky one. Skill and form. I mean, Roygaard is always one that gets thrown around a little bit. I would say, based off what he's been able to do and how effective he's been, Fehi Whirianofo has to be right up there at the moment. A little bit more push and shove. The Glasgow Warriors were able to win the scrum. Needling for share. Wanted to let the other team know all about it. Okay. Referee there has just said he's going to reverse this penalty. No Marcus Muller yet. Not yet. I don't think he'll be a mile away, though. And Karefi says, yeah, underdog pick. Did the Stormers wake up today? Says Mohadin, maybe, but they've just let their emotion get the better of them here. And it seems like Needling for Shear's reaction, alongside a couple of those other big forwards, has now resulted in the potential of a reverse penalty. Okay, so Dan Duplessis came in and started rubbing someone's face, they said. So because of that, they are going to now go and reverse that penalty. We're waiting for Marcus, says Michelle. I really hope they don't give him 2 minutes at the end of this game. Hopefully they give him about, 15, 20 minutes, which, to be fair, means that he has to come on soon, or else, he won't get much of a chance at all to be able to cement himself with a strong debut. Who scored for the Stormers? We've seen Untatuko Machunu. He scored 2. Evan Ruiz has scored 1. And then also the bonus point try was scored by Ruan Now. Line out throw. Nicely taken by Glasgow. Afshar. Now to Sione Tuipulotu. Loop it around. That was a bit high from Ruan Now as well. And there is another advantage being played. Double blow of the whistle. And now this one's going to need to be checked for the TMO. Don't be careful, please, 13. And it is just going to be ruled as a penalty. Kicked into touch there by the Glasgow Warriors. Will be about 15 metres out from the line with their own line out. Discipline says cited. That could be the make or break kind of statistic from this game. Who is the side that give away the least amount of penalties? There's been a lot of them throughout this game. We've seen many yellow cards already in play. We have 4 or 3. It's been a few though. Reinach off for, I think it's 3 at the moment. Could become more. That one's going to be going in behind, waiting for the bounce of the ball. Afshar passes across to Sione Tuipulotu. He is under pressure. Manages to still look calm while taking it to ground. Now Talakai tackled by Paul de Villiers. Glasgow going to score now. Says sighted. Afshar back across to Angus Fraser. And then Ruiz makes the tackle. Good work in the breakdown from Glasgow to be able to retain that ball. Now Sione Tuipulotu trying to go through. Tackled by Ruan now, who looks like he may have hurt his shoulder a little bit. Now another step coming from Stafford McDowell off the bench. Paul de Villiers gets himself the turnover there. A very low body position from that man. In fact, he looked like he was lying on the ground in terms of how low he got, but it was just from the legs. And he was able to keep himself up like a tripod. We're going to see it. Oh, he could have ended up getting penalised for off his feet, to be fair, there for the elbows going down first. But he did go back onto the ball afterwards. And Paul de Villiers wins yet again. Another turnover in the breakdown. Scratch that, Glasgow not going to score now. Paul de Villiers is a real turnover machine. Says Yanko, 3 yellows so far, I think. And we have got there, Hamish, I bet you're glad not every 4th question is coming from Mo. Says Jason, Mo's all right at times, as long as he's not asking if I still like him and whatnot. We've got past that stage. Porthan coming on. Yep, changes made for the Stormers here. Porthan's on. Tennyson's on. Any other Stormers changes? Perhaps a man in the number 23 jersey? No, just those 2 forward changes at this stage. Marcus Muller is going to be waiting that little bit longer before he gets the debut. A rolling ball here for the Stormers. Looking to well and truly control this game here and now. Being told to use it once again. Backline movement. Sasha Fame moving. Zulu going for the grubber in behind. Glasgow have to chase it back into their 22. Ollie Smith kick it downfield off the left. Pretty decent angle in the end for him. About 40 metres out. It will be for the Stormers line out. Oh, this sounds like more subs. Or maybe not. Okay, they were just doing a bit of speaking on the loudspeaker. They're just getting the Stormers to get moving here. Looking at the man of the match contenders. Untatuko Machuna, I feel like he's got to get it, doesn't he? the way that he's been able to play throughout this contest, getting the 2 tries. Now we have got there, Bawthorns come on. Right, line out now for JJ Kutz. Yeah, Adam Hastings, he is back out there, so it is 15 on 15 currently with 24 minutes remaining. Now, whether or not that's the way that it stays, completely different story. Right, Ollie Kebble is now on. The Stormers have made most of their changes in the forward department. In fact, I believe all of them with the exception of maybe Morabi, who I haven't seen out there as of yet. I don't think he'll be too far off from making his way onto the field with someone like a Ben Jason Dixon, who, like I mentioned, looked like he was nursing a bit of an injury. Another penalty awarded against the Glasgow Warriors. Number 8 offside, so that is against Jack Dempsey. He is one of the men who have gone to the bin already in this contest. So can't really afford to be giving away too many more. Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu, that's a good kick. Put them about 10 metres out from the try line here. And Othukamachunu, the new beast. Maybe tell you what, the way he was running it earlier on was pretty impressive indeed. And Machunu says Neil Bester. A line out throw here, Andre Hugo Fenta. Oh, he's back. Interesting. I thought he would have been off for a little bit longer, to be fair. His HIA, he looked like he was struggling when he did get hit in the head, but obviously he's all right. Now, rolling maul here attempted for the Stormers. What happens if the same player gets another yellow card? He gets a 20-minute red. Now going off to the right, Sasha with the flat attack and run there. It will just be a couple metres short. In fact, they're going to hold him up there. Nicely defended by the Glasgow Warriors. And it is going to be now the goal line dropout. Time has been turned off again here. Looks like all the players are struggling to get up from the pile of players. Okay, too many penalties in general is the call there, as they are going to go back for another penalty in favour of the Stormers. It's just a warning, says the referee there. As refereeing decisions and all international competitions consistent enough or not? Probably not, but that's because they've got such a intricate law book. Like, no referee is going to rule it exactly the same as another referee because there's so much variation in like what can happen in a game. Plus, the law book back in the old days was you had to do something pretty significant to get penalised. If you were on the wrong side of the ruck, you got every single player on the other side standing on your body and your boots and everything like that just to try and get you out of there. Oh, slip there from Andre Hugo Fenta. He has gone down to the ground. Who's on the field right now? Says Master. So at the moment, the only changes that remain is Kiki Morabi, Amir Khan, Yuri Matia and Marcus Muller for the Stormers. But it's 15 on 15 currently. There is a knock-on from Sasha Feinberg and Gumea Zulu in the breakdown. And it is now going to be the scrum feed for... Oh, This looks like a knee injury for Reinach. This is not good news here. He looks in a huge amount of pain. He's trying to make his way back to his feet. Looks like he's going to stay down just for a bit, though. And his teammate there, Sasha, going right over to him. Same with Lelion's ass. Now, that's not normally something you see if it's just a bit of a stinger. This might be a season ender for Cobus Reinach here. How many current Springboks do you predict to retire after the World Cup? Probably quite a few. To be fair, I think we'll see a lot of retirements from not just the Boks, but a lot of teams losing their guys. Edinburgh got a penalty yesterday for the Sharks not rolling into the scrum, or rolling it into the scrum straight. Who penalises that, says Yanko. And also we have got there no dropout. Was advantage, says Yanko. So yeah, it did go back for the initial penalty. But now, Reinach is still down. It looks like they're going to help him off the field here. He's limping. They've got the stretcher running over to him as well. It looks like he's going to walk off with... Okay, there was a little half thumbs up from Reinach, which makes me think that this might not be as serious as first intended, but it's still not great for Reinach here. Amor offer Tossi, Perry, Flanders, Lakai, Bodie, DMAC. Says the under pick. So who's your replacement halfback? He's out for the box season. I don't know, the fact that he walked off without anyone assisting him. And he kind of gave a half thumbs up to the, I think it was to the cart though, maybe. Sucks, but that's Papi is getting his chance though. And Cam should have stayed in 80. Says the AO underdog. Oh, so you're having no backup for your halfback. So I guess the big question I would have is what happens if Cam Roigard gets injured in the 10th minute of the game? Who are you then working on as your replacement? Or is there someone else in your back line? Like is Carter on one of your wings so he can slot into halfback like he has back in his old school days? There's the pressure on the scrum there. How you says Fortnite, I'm doing all right. It's currently 1:15 a.m, but I'm feeling quite wide awake at this point in time. Next game that I am going to be covering specifically is Scarlets versus Bulls. That is at 6:30 a.m. New Zealand time. But we have also got Haino covering the Lions versus Connacht game taking place just around the corner. All right, referee once again is not happy with scrums here. Yuri Matea has made his way onto the field. I think the only change that they haven't made at this point in time is Muller, leaving the youngster for that little bit longer. Bodie goes to 15. So Bodie goes to 15. Who goes to your halfback? Who would you have at 15? Jordan, maybe? You have a bit of a reshuffle. Jordan to the wing, Carter to half. That was Black Ferns' game. They won comfortably in the end. Crazy how Dan Dupe, such a high school prodigy, haven't done much on the pro scene. Says Neil. Yeah, sometimes those guys, they end up with so much pressure on them that they never really live up to the expectations. Like Dan Duplessis, still a very solid player though. I'm sure the Stormers are happy to have him in that midfield. That's the third time that this one's gone down, so this time the penalty is going to be awarded to the Glasgow Warriors. There's also guys who didn't do a lot in high school in terms of they've only just made their teams and then they've gone on to be world-class players. So, yeah, some players just all of a sudden get good and others sometimes plateau a bit earlier than they'd like. Right? Line out here for the Glasgow Warriors. They can still get themselves 2 tries from this game, which would give them a bonus point. And also, if they were to convert those 2 tries, they wouldn't receive a bonus point from this game for being within 7, but they would cut down the differential enough to still keep them in first place. Now ball on the outside to Ollie Smith. I love it, 10, I guess. Says the AI underdog. Okay, that could possibly work. Oh, a bit of a juggle there. Oh, and Afshar has the ball just stripped out of his hands. It's called as the knock-on, so the Stormers wave themselves the scrum on the halfway line. Ayala Kutley Adensa, says Neil. Oh, was a score for the Black Ferns. I agree, too many rules. World Rugby have not learnt their lesson. I think by changing the game is going to grow the game. Well, it's a bit similar to the Sevens, how every time they changed the Sevens, they broke it a little bit more. So, yeah, it's just a weird one that they've tried to modify it so much that it almost has put people off it. And the law book's getting longer and longer. We saw one in the Super round of Super Rugby, how the ball hit the wire up above where the spider cam is. So that became the scrum reset. But even having laws like that, that's all right. But at the same time, the 50 others to do with the breakdown and bits and pieces like that just make it very technical and hard to cover, even for the referees. It's very tricky. What time is the Leinster game? Is anyone covering it? I think Leinster's game overlaps, if I am correct. They are playing during the same time as Bulls Scarlet, so I'll be doing a co-stream for that, letting you know what's happening in both cases. Mulleron says, we're not yet. I don't believe another penalty is awarded, this time to the Glasgow Warriors at scrum time. But New Zealand won 40-5 in that game as well. I think I brushed past that. Stephen Pettifetta says Samuel. And all the time now, come on, Dobbo. Says Neil Bester. Oh, this might be the time. There was a little bit of a cheer, and one of the Stormers players looked like he was about to make his way to the sideline. Well, Rugby has become obsessed with trying to match the NRL, says Fleshin. Yeah. I don't think it's worked out too well for them as of yet. Johnny Matthews throws in. Nicely taken there for Glasgow. They've got 17 minutes to score twice in this contest. If they can do that, they receive the bonus point and go back to number 1 in the standings. Afshar. Oh, that's a good diving tackle, or a good diving take, I should say, from Sione Tui Polotu. I'll wait to the left-hand side where Glasgow have about 7 men ready for the pass, but it only goes as far as the first one. I got the Highlanders and the Chiefs to win tonight, says Fortnite. Probably not a bad shout. I think they both come in as quite heavy favourites. Now Afshar rolling this one back again. Kicked up. And coming down. Good take from was Damien Valimza. Ahmad Khan goes across to Kebble. Works it outside of the 22. Told to use it again. Ahmad Khan. That one's going to just stay in the field of play. That's accidental offside. So the penalty is awarded. Do you think Rico played today for Leinster? I'll have a look because they have announced their team. Second, Leinster away from home. Rico Ioane's at 13 alongside Jamie Osborne in the midfield. So yes, he is going to be in action up against Benetton. Yuri Matia. That one into touch. 16 minutes left. We see another change coming here for Glasgow. That's going to be Jack Oliver, the number 23 for him, or for the Glasgow side. Is that going to be the reminder for Dobson to bring on the youngster Miller? Is Miller on? Not yet. We are still waiting for him to get himself the chance. What time are you streaming again? So, Haino's going to be live in 30 minutes' time for the Connacht versus Lions game. I'm going to be live at 6:30 a.m. New Zealand time. So 8:30 p.m. South African for that game between the Scarlets and the Bulls. Another rolling maul here for the Stormers. JJ Kutsia is back on. Imagine he doesn't come on. I think that would annoy a lot of people. We're starting to get into that patch, though, how with the amount of time remaining, if they don't put him on soon, I think that'll annoy a lot of people. Great run from Sasha Feinberg. Mgame Zulu, 10 metres out from the line. Ahmad Khan had JJ Kutsia with him. That was knocked on by Kikimorabi. And it isn't the try for Van Heeren. We have got the, I don't know why. As not many people care about the NRL outside of Australia and Auckland and the islands, I suppose. Says Fleshin. How do you watch the game? Through URC TV here in New Zealand. 14 minutes left, though. The Glasgow Warriors avoiding that Stormers attack. We see it there. Kikimorabi, he thought that the pass was going to him and just hits his arm and goes in a forwards direction to Ruben van Heeren. Sasha Bulldogs and Hastings. There's Neil. Well, Hastings probably tackling a little bit lower than he was earlier on because he doesn't want to get that yellow card again. Right, we see Medics running onto the field for the Stormers, but we do not see a replacement yet. Whose ball? It is going to be Glasgow's ball, 5 metres out from their own line. Triple blow of the whistle there. Of the referee's whistle. Do you need to pay for it? Yes, it is I think season pass is about 80 New Zealand dollars. Oh, here we go. No, is it? No, not yet. Still waiting, Muller. You just got a hug there from Nedeling Foschier, who has made his way off of the field a while ago for Zachary Porth, and this seems like now Muller, he's at least standing up in the dugout. But he's not making his way on just yet. They are leaving it that little bit longer. Highlanders versus Moana seems unappealing. Current Wooden Spooners versus next Wooden Spooners. Says Jason. Now ball's going to be fed in. And penalty to Glasgow again at scrum time. They've been doing nicely in that department. Lee Kebble, the man who's been penalised in that case. Means that Glasgow can kick this one downfield. It's gone into touch. Hastings has put it out. Right. Muller now makes his way onto the field. His debut for the Stormers gets the high five from Lelion Zas. All of his teammates giving him a bit of support as well. And he is making his way onto the field for Similani. Big opportunity for this man. He's a try-scoring machine. the league that he has been playing in, but now chance here for the Stormers. They must bring back Machunu and Fischer. The scrum is a disgrace. He's on 12, says Neil. He's on for Similani with 13 minutes remaining in this contest. Will he touch the ball? Oh, he might do, because that one's going to be stolen by the Stormers. Not using the back line there. JJ Kurtzia instead will run it forward. Word on street is Glasgow can still win, says Ando. I don't know whose street that is, but that one's probably a dishonest street, I would have to say. There's a chance they can still get a bonus point. We want Miller. He's on. He's on the field now. Evan Rus. Ruan now to the wing. Says, hey, no, that one's going to be knocked backwards. Now Ahmad Khan goes to Sasha Feinbergen, Gume Zulu. Now Ahmad Khan. Cross to R.A. Smith. Ahmad Khan, tell you what, he was looking the wrong way, and Vailanu's got in there and has won the penalty for the Glasgow Warriors again inside of their 22. That was a bit of a mistake from Ahmad Khan. He was looking out to his left to work out who was available for the pass, and while doing so, while he looked away, Vailanu straight over the ball manages to get the turnover for his team. It's $28 for season pass for URC TV. I assume that's maybe because you only get the rest of the season, right, rather than the full year. Line out here for the Glasgow Warriors. Is Miller on? He is, yes. He's made his way on the field. He just hasn't touched the ball yet. Now line out throw here. Johnny Matthews. It's the ball in. Do you think Rugby 10s could become a popular competition? Not sure. Rugby 7s, they tried to kind of break. I guess 10s would be interesting in terms of where you have certain players. I guess you'd have to work out who you're ditching. Oh, it's a bad wide cutout pass there from Ollie Smith making the mistake. Why do you need to pay for it? Because it's a competition. Oh, they've decided to take this one quickly. Go on with the grubber in behind. Looking for the 50-22. It should be as well. And this one will be only a couple metres out, but it does roll into the in-goal area for Kyle Steyn, who looks to run this ball forward. He is forced down. It's going to be a goal line dropout. Yes, he is on. How much you paying for it? I think at the start of the year I paid about $80 for the season pass, which actually worked out to be not too bad. Because at the end of the day, you get about... In fact, it might have been more than that. Or else that's very, very cheap for the whole competition. Maybe, I think it worked out to be about $1 a game or something along those lines. Maybe even less. Now, beautiful take from Kyle Steyn. Sasha making the ankle tap and manages to force the error too. Here comes Evan Rus once more. Now, Ahmad Khan on the way to the right-hand side. Here comes Ruben van Heer, and he's frustrated that he didn't get a strike just before. Now, Ahmad Khan working it away to, I believe that would have been the replacement in the number 19 jersey, Marcel Tennyson, I believe. Slotting in there. Glasgow are getting better. Loose ball picked up by Damien Williams, and now in the hands of Ruan, now out on the right wing. Does a bit of a spin. I think some of the crowd think that that's Marcus Miller from the reaction that they gave Ruan now there. They did have a bit of a backline reshuffle. That ball's been ripped away, but stripped forward. Stripped forward in the tackle. That's a new one. So it is going to be the scrum feed now for the Stormers. Did you see the Rabbitohs beat the Storm? No, I didn't actually see many of the results in the NRL. 9 minutes remaining in this contest. Still the score is 34 points to 12. Currently the way that it sits, they would go to the top of the table. I know that sometimes they haven't really ruled. If it's a strip, sometimes it doesn't matter where it goes. But at the moment, Untatuko Machuno here sitting with 36% of the vote for man of the match. Sasha is just behind him on 31%. Wise win by 2. If ever a scrum has to go well, it is this. It is it. Says Yanko. Yeah, only 5 metres out. This is where rolling maul try, scrum pushover try really could come into play. But whether or not it does, different story. Miller rocking that young Franz Steyn look. Here's Neil. This could be the opportunity for Muller to get his first touch. What URC game are coming up? The next one is going to be Lions versus Connacht. After that one, there is a match between Munster and Ulster, although we aren't covering that one on the channel. And then also Scarlets versus Bulls taking place at the same time as Leinster versus Benetton. Going to be covering both of them. Whose ball? It is still waiting for the scrum to take place in favour of the Stormers after the strip forward. Munster or Ulster? Munster. Ulster haven't picked their best team. Munster certainly have. Have you ever tried the Cadbury Cream Egg chocolate bar? Yeah, it's not as good as actual cream eggs, I find. Now Ahmad Khan feeds the ball in for the scrum. And this time it is the big push penalty advantage. Evan Russ going short side. Sasha Feinberg Ngomazulu will score the try. Oh, he will score the try. He almost dove dead there. Who's covering the Munster match? Not us. Oh, we're going to have to see this grounding here from Sasha. I think it was all right, but he got very close to that dead ball line. Which seemed like an interesting choice, but he was trying to make it an easier kick for himself there too. And he had so much time to give it to Mark. See, here's Yanko. But yeah, nice run from Sasha. We're going to see the replay now. His elbow was very close to that dead ball line, although I don't think they're going to check it. It's one of those ones that probably doesn't matter in the long run, but risky play from Sasha, but he has managed to score, and it does now make the score 41 points to 12. Are you covering the Bulls game? I am, yes. But we have also got Haino covering the Connacht versus Lions match. I don't like the goal line dropout, says Peter Mann. I quite like the fact that Sevens still has that old school 5 metre scrum. That's one good thing about the Sevens at the moment in terms of the way that they have kept some of the old rules. They don't have the 50-22s either. That one goes into touch. Your favourite URC and Super Rugby jerseys? I like the Hurricanes kit because it's yellow. That's about the only reason, really. Not sure about URC. Trying to think. There was an away kit for a side a while ago that I thought looked really awesome, but I can't remember whose it was. Oh, Glasgow managing to slap it back. They can go for broke here and just try and score twice in 7 or so minutes. Bit of a slip for Kyle Steyn. Having another try tomorrow, but not such a big one. Now moving forward, Stafford McDowell, 40 metres from their line, Glasgow. Hastings hesitates for that pass on the outside. It'll be tackled nicely by Yuri Matia. Unless you got the Lions next week, it should be a good game. Or the week after, Challenge and Champions Cup next week first. Oh, that was a forward pass. Kyle Steyn frustrated with it too. He knew it as soon as he took the catch. There's 1 versus 2. Says the AI underdog pick. There we have you there. I'm sitting in a wimpy restaurant in South Africa. Listening to you, I must keep my emotions intact, says Hardis. Who do the Stormers have next week? No one, because they've been knocked out of the Champions Cup. They don't have a game. In fact, none of the South African sides do. They have the week off to then be able to really get going the week after for the URC next round. Marcus saw it immediately too. I didn't even start the tackle, says Yanko. But it is going to be scrum feed here for the Stormers, currently on the 22. Are you coming, Amish? Nah, a bit of a long flight, isn't it? By the time I get there, it wouldn't be tomorrow anymore. It would be the next day after that, so the braai would be over. As Stormers got Ulster, says Fortnight. This ball's going to be fed in by Ahmad Khan. They're trying to get another scrum penalty, but won't be awarded it there, the Stormers. Kyle Steyn from the Request International Rugby. Greatest Springbok player of all time. That one's very hard to say because it depends on what position you're looking at as well. Now that Mexican wave's actually going back the other way by the looks of it. It was going the other way in the first half. Oh, why there no URC games next weekend? Because of the Champions and Challenge Cup. The semi-finals of that competition has taken place. Now, Ahmad Khan ready to put this ball into the scrum. It's been quite the atmosphere at the stadium too. And to be fair, the Stormers have turned up big time. Another big scrum, although, I thought the referee was about to penalise the Stormers for that one, but Glasgow have given away yet again. Who's playing in the Challenge Cup? Exeter Chiefs versus Ulster, and Montpellier versus the Dragons. Sam Talakai, the man who's been penalised for that one. Can you please give me your Sky Sports logins? No. Because it probably wouldn't work depending on where you are in the world. I think if you're outside of New Zealand, it doesn't let you use it. But line out here. I think 3.5 minutes remaining and a chance of a rolling maul. Miller got his first touch. Not yet. Still waiting patiently for it. It's been on the field for about 9 minutes currently. And hasn't seen the ball. This one he probably won't either, because I feel like rolling maul try here for the Stormers is on the cards. Thrown in. Nicely taken. Here comes that rolling maul that I mentioned. They are moving it nicely. It looks like JJ Coetzee. He doesn't even get the transfer of the ball. They'll go over anyway. It is Kiki Morabi who manages to score it. And that is another one for the Stormers side. We have got there, need 13 more points to remind them of last week. Here's Yanko. They're working their way up there. Currently 34 points difference between these two sides. Kiki Morabi, that is his first try of his career. VPN's Splash TV, but also URC's not on Sky Sport here in New Zealand. It's on URC TV. Dan put to the sword. Says, yeah, $100 pick. And what's going on with the Warriors, says Xander. I've not even heard of Montpellier. They are in France. They're a French club. You probably know some of the players who are at their squad, though. 1 second. I'll read off some of their players, because some of the guys that you see, you're like, oh, that's where they've ended up. Sasha, he has got that kick over. That is going to now make the score between these two sides 48-12. It's been a pretty rough run for the Glasgow Warriors in South Africa currently. Over in South Africa, that's what's going on with them. So here's Yanko. Yeah, very different welcome than what we saw for Connacht. Okay, first knock on from Glasgow, second by the Stormers. So we're going to see another scrum here near the end of this one. But in the squad, who we got? Tom Banks, used to play for the Brumbies and also Australian International. Adam Beard, Welshman, used to be at the Ospreys. You've got, who else are the well-known players? Langy Gleeson. If anyone who follows Super Rugby, he used to be at the Tars. Stuart Hogg is there, the Scottish international. You got Domingo Miotti. Also, Ali Price, the Welshman too. There's a few Welshmen. And the side, Ricky Riccatelli. Used to play for the Hurricanes and the Blues. Jordan Ulesi used to be at the Rebels. Arthur Vincent, French international. Billy Vunipola, the big man from Saracens. They're probably the most notable names who aren't like classic French players in that Montpellier side. Now going away to the left-hand side. Now passing it across. In the hands now of Sasha Feinberg. Ngume Zulu, nicely taken again. Well done the Stormers. There's Jackie. Running it forward was Kyle Stain. Now for Glasgow, they can't get a bonus point from this game with 23 seconds remaining. They have kicked it in behind. That ball would just go into touch. It was a deflection off a Stormers player, which means Glasgow will get the last play of the day. Can I see who does Ulster got? Says Fortnite NBA. I'd recommend checking out the Challenge Cup website. But they've got the likes of Averna Cock, Jano Augustus. A few of those guys. Ian Henderson. Ali Price is yeah, sorry, I said Welsh, didn't I? My apologies. He used to play for, was he at Edinburgh? Was he in, no, he wasn't in, was he in Edinburgh, boy? Where did Ali Price play? In the URC. Now going away to the right. Oh, big knock on there. And now kicking it into touch for Lelion Zas. And that will be the end of the game. 48 points to 12 in favour of the Stormers. They move to top of the table. What team did Angus Bell play for? He's at Ulster. I want the Stormers to win now. Well, they have just won. 48-12, a 60-point match between these two sides. But yeah, top of the table now for the Stormers. They got themselves the bonus point from this game as well, which can have substantial boosts in the overall standings. Now, I will mention that now means, with the way that this game sits, they won by 36. 166 as their points differential. It means that Leinster, if they want to go to number 1 in the standings, they would have to win their game up against Benetton by 87 points. So that's quite hard to do, I would think, throughout a game of rugby, with the fact that Benetton are at home for that game. So it looks like, unless something really weird happens in that game, we're going to get to see... Oh, that's an interesting celebration from JJ Coetzee and Evan Roos, a bit of a weird back hug thing. But, yeah, Stormers should be number 1 at the end of this round. We have got the Cheers Hamish and fellow watchers. Says Anthony. We have got there. Can you please say the score more for people with visual impairment? I'm having difficulties tracking the score. Thank you. So, yeah, currently 48-12 into the game between these two sides. We have got there. Very happy to be part of the 0.3% that got Mchunu a man of the match. Says Yanko. I could be pissed by the Scarlets game as I'm going out with my wife. So I apologise in advance for any bollocks I chat. Given the anti-Welsh chat here, I assume it will be worse later. Says Fleshian. He played for both Edinburgh and Glasgow. Says Hammock. And also, good call, cheers, mate. Says the underdog pick. So, yeah, next game going to be taking place. Do you sum of the pictures for the Lions? Do you sum of the pictures for the Lions? Oh, like the overlays. Yeah, I'll add them in after this stream so that you can do the pop-ups. Like these type of ones, right? I'll be able to chuck them in so that you have access. You stumped me there for a second. I wasn't quite sure what you meant, but I think I've worked it out. We just won't have an updated table one is the only thing. But yeah, Haino is going to be going live in actually only 9 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. It is happening in the very near future. So anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and he will be covering that Connacht versus Lions game. From there, I will be jumping back in for the 6:30 a.m. kickoff here in New Zealand, or that will be 8:30 p.m. for you guys in South Africa, and that is going to be the contest taking place between the Scarlets and the Bulls. So be sure to check that out. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all for the next one.